Jane, thank you very much. You see the blue bonnets. It is springtime. Texas hoping to spring to life, especially offensively. Texas Tuesday, Wichita State in Texas. The Shockers making the trip in here at UFCU Dish Falk Field. Plenty of history and big history between these two teams. We welcome you inside the booth here. Kevin Dunn alongside three-time first-team All-American Keith Moreland. Keith, your time 73-75. You won a bunch of games. Texas baseball, kind of like Kentucky basketball, kind of like Notre Dame football. They've been winning and winning a bunch for 120 years. 7-game losing streak. What's going on?
Well, they're not getting the big hit when they needed to get the hits they need. But the most important thing is they got to go back to basics. And basics in Augie Garrido's system has always been win the inning. So they got to find a way to go out, throw a 0 on the board in the top of the first, score in the bottom, play with the lead, and then that's the end of that frame, go to the next frame. At the end of the day, if you win more innings than the opponent, you're going to win some baseball games. This team needs a win. The effort's been there. They just hadn't been able to get the big hit when they need to get that big hit. So they got to find a way at this point to win the inning. If they can win enough innings, they'll win the ballgame.
The biggest win for Wichita State in their program history, probably any sport, is 5-3 win in 1989 over Texas to get their only baseball national championship. Gene Stevenson is gone. Todd Butler is in. He's a great recruiter, was at Arkansas, kind of a transition, but they've done very well against Texas historically.
Well, historically, all 3 wins against these 2 programs is in the College World Series, where the Shockers won all 3. He's got to recruit. He's an excellent recruiter. Got to recruit Kansas. He's got to beat Kansas State and Kansas. Come down into Oklahoma and Texas and get some kids. He's trying to build this program back. He does have good talent. They just hadn't put it all on the field yet.
Yeah, sounds like both teams. We're going to have starting lineups, starting pitchers. It's beautiful weather. We're playing some college baseball when we get back.
Texas baseball on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Wingstop, the wing expert with more than enough flavor to keep Austin winged.
Oh, welcome back. You think Texas, you think Wichita State, you think that rainy day where the Shockers ended up winning 5-3 and winning the national championship. Todd Butler's in his 2nd season, as Keith mentioned, thought of as one of the best recruiters in all of college baseball, was at Arkansas for a long time. This season they are struggling a little bit, and they've been struggling on the road against non-conference teams, but they're playing really good teams. One guy who's not struggling, Ryan Tinker.
Well, he does a nice job, does Tinker. When you look at his numbers overall, he's a guy that doesn't hit a lot of balls out of the ballpark, but he's driven in 22. He does the little things. His slugging, though, 15 doubles. That's a big number. It's like Colin Shaw for the Longhorns. He's done a nice job. He's got a 10-game inning streak on the line, and that's the middle part of the order. They're also missing a very good player that's not in their lineup tonight, and Rader at shortstop. So, you know, they're a little bit down with what they bringing to the table, because of the fact is that they've been beat up a lot. Talking to Coach Butler, he says, hey, his third baseman's out for the season. 2 of our starting pitchers are out now. The starting shortstop's gone.
The top 2 starters are out for the season. And you mentioned Chase Rader. We're not going to see him. They're beat up. Texas, well, maybe not physically beat up, but psychologically beat up. 7-game losing streak. They're going to go to the lefty Josh Shorter.
Josh Shorter's got to throw strike 1. That is the thing that is going to separate him tonight and keep him in this rotation. You know, right now, I would think that the rotation for the Longhorns is probably a little bit of a flux. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you can take the ball and step up when you get the opportunity, and that's what Sawyer is getting an opportunity here. He started, this is his 7th start, but he's got to throw strike 1 with his fastball. He has the ability to put you away, Kevin, with his breaking ball, but he's got to throw strikes with his fastball.
This will be his 7th start, 4.50 earned run average. He's 2-1. Be his 9th appearance. He's pitched 26 innings. He's given up 29 hits, 15 runs, 13 of those earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 15. Opponents are hitting 287 off him. Well, he's around the plate.
He is around the plate, but the reason that 287 number is big to me, it's 1-0 and 2-1. He's in fastball counts. He's having to come across the plate. If they were 0-1, 1-2, and you're ahead of them, they're not going to get the base hits. They just don't see the ball well because he can put you away with a breaking ball. But if you can set on his fastball, it's not good enough to throw the ball by you. So you have to find a way to pitch ahead, attack the hitter by being ahead in the count.
A guy who we'll talk about. We'll certainly talk about that 89 game a lot. Brian Dare, number 11, the lefty from Westlake, who came into that game. Boy, he had a Zito-esque curveball that day. Came in probably a little too late, but he didn't overpower people. Able to change speeds. Michael Burns will lead it off. Let's get this thing underway.
That's exactly what he needs to do. Down in the zone. That was right at the bottom of the zone. David Wiley, an excellent home plate umpire. He's got a pretty good size strike zone, very consistent, but he does call the low strike. Keep it down there.
0-1 to short. That is Joe Baker who will make the play. And there's one out. And some changes since the last time you saw us here on Longhorn Network. The freshman from McKinney, Joe Baker, playing shortstop. Augie trying to find some answers. C.J. Hinojosa has moved over to third base. And Brett Boswell, who they're still extremely high on. I know you are. He's just struggling right now.
He's just struggling. And mentally, he's trying to get him going. I really feel like he'll be back in the lineup before we get through. I think for this team to go where it wants to go, and that's, you know, to try to get into the conference championship as this conference race continues, to get into the conference tournament and those type of things, I think he's got to be in the lineup somewhere.
This is Michael Muka to first. Casey Clemens will take it himself, and a good start for the lefty from San Angelo.
Down. What I like, what I see so far is he's down in the zone. And again, pitching, you know, it's like selling real estate. We've said that many times. It's location, 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 but down is the best place to do it. It's like buying a good piece of property. You want to buy it on the low and sell it on the high, where you want to pitch downstairs.
Are you sure you're not Moreland Properties?
No,
you sure there's no connection there?
There is not.
Daniel Keeley will step up.
Well, 2 out of the first 3 hitters coming to the plate, he's been ahead in the count. And when you're ahead in the count, he can do a lot of things now. He can mix in. Also, the other thing is, I don't think he's been able to get ahead enough to mix in something off speed. Not just his good slider, but something a little slower, maybe a curve or a change.
Upstairs counts even.
I think he tried to go to a change right there, which is good. Did work on that. That's another pitch to put in your repertoire.
Keeley's been hot. Hitting .432 in the last 10 games, but he's down in the count 1-2.
You know, when you try to stop a losing streak, the other part of it, you need a guy 60 feet 6 inches away that takes it, says, all right, guys, get me one, and I'll make it win.
Funny how that turns it around, and Josh Sawyer trying to turn it around for Texas. A 1-2-3 inning, 8 pitches for Sawyer, as Texas now will come to bat, and it has not been good times for Augie and the Longhorns as of late. Texas had a rough road trip to Stillwater last weekend. Score tied at 3, bottom of the 18th. Hayden McGuire enters the game and serves up a 3-run shot to Corey Hassel. That capped off an 18 inning, 7-hour extravaganza. I remember I was at Longhorn Network till 2. Game 2 started a little better for the Longhorns. Tres Barrero, the solo shot. But Oklahoma State would use a 2-run shot by Brian Case, and this game felt like it was the turning point.
It did take the turning part. Hollingsworth makes a mistake upstairs. It gets hit out of the ballpark, and boy, it just took the wind out of the sails after a really tough night before. Then on Sunday, you come out and you do grab a lead. You win an inning. You feel like you're going to be able to do it, but just couldn't hold it, and it comes away with a really tough taste in your mouth. This is an opposite field 3-run double that separated the game in the 4th inning, and from that point on, Texas trailed the entire ball game.
Look at Tres Barrera. Put his head. That kind of says it all, does it not?
It does.
Augie, the winningest coach in college baseball, 17-15 this year. Talked to him at length yesterday. He said, I've been here before. These kids need to start having fun again. We'll see if they can do that. We take a look at the Texas lineup. Who stands out to you tonight, Keith?
Well, I think there's a lot of different people, but Joe Baker right at the very top. When you look at Joe, he's getting put into the lineup. He had a tough weekend this weekend, but he's feeling comfortable. I know he's working a lot on his swing, trying to stay on top of the ball. He can get it something going, because Ben Johnson has come out of that position, Kevin, moved back into a RBI situation now in the 3rd spot in the order. Coach Garrido's tried a lot of different things, and he's going to continue to try to find out what you need to do. But they did a nice job of getting the 0 in the top of the first. See if they can answer right here.
All right, they're going to be facing a kid with pretty good stuff. It's Chase Williams. He's a 6'5", 225-pound redshirt sophomore. He's from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. If you follow high school baseball, you probably recognize that. They've had some talent coming out of there, and this kid's talented.
He is talented. Now, he has been really inconsistent. Tough time throwing strikes. He's got 13 walks at this point already in the season. And, you know, that's in 13 innings. So, you know, he's averaging a walk per inning. That's where he struggles with his command. But he has got a wipe-away slider and at times an above-average fastball, but he's got to throw strikes.
See if he can get to the wipeout, but as Keith talked about, he needs to get ahead in the count. Joe Baker will lead it off for Texas. It's a freshman from McKinney.
The ball jumps out of his hand. You can see that right there.
First thing you could tell.
Oh, right off the bat. You see a big guy like that, nice, free, and easy. It's not a max effort, and the ball just jumps out of his hands.
Is that the first thing you're looking at when you're maybe in the dugout?
Oh, you do. You watch him warm up and say, ooh, that's free and easy, but you can tell that's getting there pretty quickly. It's easy to see. Now he's behind here. I would think take in order here.
Well, it is easy, and it's 92, but it's not in the strike zone, and that's exactly what you talked about to start off. He's got to throw strikes because the stuff is there. You taking 2 here, Keith?
You know, if I'm Joe Baker, yeah, when you're trying to win an inning and you've been struggling to score runs as a team, you're not getting that big hit, so you're going to need some help from the opponent. Maybe a leadoff walk would be that.
3-1, he was not taking, fouls that back.
Good location, tied him up inside. There's a lot of different people in professional ball who look at a young man like this. First thing they see is when they see the stats, 6'5", 220. You go, okay. And then they see the ball come out of his hands. Now, the next part is, you know, how can he mature? What's his growth in baseball? How does he come in and he walks right there? That's just misses, but you see that 94. That's a nice number.
So, yeah, we'll definitely get a look at the next level, but control will be his biggest challenge, and he faces that with Baker. Leadoff walk. That'll bring up Brooks and Barlow. Barlow kind of been all over. We've seen him clean up, 5th, 1st. How do you like him as a 2-hole?
You know, I think I like him in the 1st or 2nd spot in the order because he can get the bunt down. I would assume here he is bunting in this situation, try to play with the lead. But the other part for Brooks is let him be comfortable.
Well, this is going to advance Joe Baker, and Keith, you talked about it early, and we're seeing it quickly. Chase has to throw strikes, and that's been a problem.
It has been a problem for him. Right there, you can see overthrowing a little bit, gets stretched out in the rotation. His front foot hits the ground first, and it just throws off his release point. You can see, watch his front foot right here at the bottom. Watch it hit the ground first, and before the ball comes out of his hands. A lot of times that ball's coming forward. When that happened, he just threw it straight into the ground.
See, Brooks is still trying to bunt. It does go down as a wild pitch. The 13th wild pitch for Chase Williams this year. Bunt is foul.
Well, again, you've got a young man. You know why you recruited him. You say, we got to get him out there. You got to get this young man some experience. I mean, his numbers do not look like they should look, just because of the fact is he's just inconsistent. He just is a big guy that hadn't got his wind-up down yet. But when he puts it all together, there's a lot of people going to like him.
You better watch out. One is popped up, but he does hit the ground, and Williams has to get out of the way, and he's safe at first base. A little lackadaisical, and Texas catches a break.
Now, when you go over to cover, not sure anybody knew exactly. Burns is right there, and I'm not sure if anybody knows who's supposed to be there. And then all of a sudden he turns, hands it, almost gets dink. He reaches up, doesn't secure the ball. You can see Burns, he just moved his head the last minute, didn't secure the baseball. I would think that's sacrifice E4 on the play. That's exactly what they call it. Great opportunity here for Texas to play with a lead.
And maybe get more than one, something that they were doing earlier in the season, putting up crooked numbers. The slugging percentage was up.
extra base hits.
Yep, and they hit the ball pretty well. Oklahoma State only out-hit them by 3 hits throughout the weekend, but it was when it mattered.
When you're getting your hits.
Here's Ben Johnson. He's still hitting, leading the Big 12 with a .371 average.
Even though a guy throws hard, Ben's a good fastball hitter. I'm looking for something up right here. I want to stay out of the double play. Even though Ben runs well and he's tough to double up, I want to stay in the middle of the diamond and get the ball in the air. Get my team on the board.
Shockers will take 2. Give up a run. That strike on the outside corner.
Well, that shows you that bender right there. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
You're not going to swing at that. As a hitter, that's the one you take all the way.
Good job.
Now you got to be careful with a guy that throws hard. The high fastball right now is a pitch it's a dangerous pitch up around the letters over the plate, or you can bounce the breaking ball. And Williams needs a strikeout right here.
Could be 2. 6, 4, 3 safe at first, so they cannot get Ben, and a run scores. It's 1-0 Texas. You'll take that, Keith.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice job making sure you're making contact, hustling all the way for Ben Johnson. Just a little bit of a bobble right at the point right there where he bobbles, just doesn't get it out as quickly. Pretty good turn by Burns, but with Johnson's speed, no way to double him up. Just had a little bit of a tough time. Vickers not the everyday shortstop, and you could tell a little bit, just a little tentative on that turn that time.
Yeah, Vickers and Burns, the double play combo for the Shockers, with their usual crew. Here's Tres Barrera. Tres at 295. You saw that homer he was able to hit in Stillwater. He does have a first pitch ball to all 4 batters, and that was your key to start this game off.
You're right, and that's why Texas is already on the board without the benefit of a base hit, by the way.
Yep. You talked about it. Sometimes to get the offense going, you got to kind of force it and create it, even without hitting.
Williams trying to keep Johnson close. If you split the season in half, this is the 33rd game of the year. We did some investigation and looked at some numbers and that kind of thing. Texas has actually run the bases more in this second half of the season than they did in the first.
Speaking of running, Ben Johnson's going to take off, and no shot to get the speedster from Westwood. Augie wants to see him run more, and we've seen that a little bit the last couple games.
We have seen it, and they're going to have to do some things to use the speed. And Coach Garrido, probably that might have been a forced still situation. But if you look at the first 16 games and then you look at the second 16 games, it's pretty evident to me the difference in this ball club and why in the first 16 games they're 10-6, and the last 16 games they're 7-9. It's not pitching. The ERA is almost the same. It's all about slugging percentage and OPS as a team, and they have really struggled in that department. They haven't been getting the leadoff guy on, as you can see. Look at the difference in number, 180 points in team OPS. That's just, and they're not getting the extra base hits.
No.
And that's the difference. That's why, one, you're 6 games over 500, or 4 games over 500, and the other one you're 2 games under.
Johnson in the last 6 games trying to force the issue. He is 6 for 6. Stealing bags. Williams aware of that. Well, Keith, it's early, but you get the feeling with both these teams where they're playing. This is big for this game. Texas can get some confidence and some early separation.
Well, it's going to get some national attentions. I mean, Wichita State trying to get back to get that national cachet, and Texas has that national cachet. So it's a really good, well, we call them intersectional matchup in the middle of the week, and so there's a lot of people paying attention to this game, no question.
Takes the walk, second walk of the inning. Came around to score. And brings up C.J. Hinojosa. C.J. playing third base, still struggling at 205. Have you seen anything that would indicate he maybe is getting out of that?
Well, watching him take BP, he's doing a lot of good things in BP, and now can he take that from the game into the game?
I think he can. To left field. This will score Johnson easily, and Barrera's on his horse. He's going to third. He's in there, an RBI double for Christopher Jesse.
Doing a nice job of swinging at the first pitch. It's a breaking ball that stays up. Just does not have good bite. He stays on it. That front side stays on it. And I do like it when C.J. Hinojosa is aggressive. I think that's what he's got to be. He's not one of these patient type hitters that goes to the plate. He's very patient. He's more of a free swinger, and great hustle here by Barrera. You got to make your mind up to go first to third as soon as you leave first base. You know, Barrera not the fastest of feet, but that's really good base running and good anticipation for Trace.
Infield will play back. Texas with a chance to get another run as Michael Cantu, the catcher, is up. At 257. There's that one home run that he hit in San Marcos. One and one. You feel like his ceiling is about as high as it gets for a freshman college catcher?
Oh, I don't think there's a question that I have seen very few young men come out of high school into college that are defensively as far along as Michael Cantu is. And everything he does, not his throwing, his ability to set up and get the target. He's getting much better at blocking, especially on a synthetic field, which is different than learning to block on a dirt field where there's dirt around home plate. I think he's doing a lot of different things. I think he does a nice job of receiving with very soft hands. And offensively, he's just going to get better. I thought that this is where he might struggle is offensively, because quite frankly, the pitching's much better.
Right.
Once you get to college. And now I think his ability to hit's there. It's just going to take him a while to adjust to that because he's a big man. And a lot of times big men love to extend their arms. And when you extend your arms, you have some vulnerability. You're vulnerable inside a lot.
Yeah. And as you talk about that to right field, Barrera going to bluff, but will not come home, and there's 2 outs.
And then there's those times just like that for a freshman hitter where you can make the ball get down, knowing that a ground ball to short or second, then your team would have got another run on the board.
Knocked in 109 at Moody. Started his career at Carroll. Quarterback, do-it-all catcher, also DH'd. Transferred over to Moody. Here's Colin Shaw. Colin's numbers have really taken a dip, like a lot of the Texas players offensively. .93. Boy, it is loose, isn't it? It's free.
It is nice.
Step off and reset here.
And for Colin, here's another guy that you're looking at. Got off to an outstanding start in the seasons. Really had a midpoint here of his senior year. Like, get things going. Get some confidence back.
Swings through that. Augie said our rhythm and timing is off. We're swinging through breaking balls and we're getting tied up with fastballs. How do you fix that for a guy who hit almost 400 in college?
Well, I don't know that I have all the answers, but I think what you go back to originally is, do you like to hit the fastball? Then look for the fastball every pitch until you get something going.
Got a fastball and fouled it back.
At this level, very few times will you see a collegiate pitcher, Bert Hooten could, but that's unusual, they can throw you a good hard breaking ball 3 consecutive times for a strike. Eventually, they're going to have to throw you a fastball. So look for the fastball and go hit off the fastball.
Bert Hooten, arguably the best college pitcher ever.
No, there's no argument to it, in my opinion.
My opinion, too, actually. Strikeout there is Williams able to get out of it. But Texas able to get something out of it. C.J. Hinojosa, boy, he needed that. We played one. It's the Horns by 2. Welcome back. Wichita State struggling overall at 13-18, but feeling pretty good about where they stand in the Missouri Valley Conference. Pretty good conference. You got Dallas Baptist, Missouri State. Bradley's beating some people. Top tier of it's really good.
Yeah, you just look at that upper part of that. Wichita State right now on top, and obviously they've still got to travel to Dallas Baptist at the end of their season. But I'm positive when you just know Coach Butler. I just feel like that they're going to be really competitive and be much better in the second half of the season than they were in the first half.
I think he feels the same way. Well, if it was a stock, just knowing what Todd Butler did, and Augie looked at him extensively to fill Tommy Harmon's spot. In fact, it was either Tommy Nicholson or Todd Butler, and I think Todd kind of knew he wanted to be a head coach very soon, and Augie thinks the world of him, but he's going to get that turned around because he can recruit.
Yeah, he does a great job with that, and the other part with that, he understands what it means to play Shocker baseball.
Yep.
And that's a key. He understands the program and where it's been and where he wants to bring it back to.
3-1 to Ryan Tinkham. Swung at ball 4.
We highlighted Tinkham in the opening. He is a good offensive player. He's long, lanky, really a good slasher, runs well. 15 doubles at this point of the season.
Hitting 475 in his last 10 games. Zane Gerwitz makes the play. Wind is blowing from right to left as you take a look at that. And here is Wichita State's program history. First year of baseball, 1899. Missouri Valley Conference. NCAA tournament 28 times. Been to Omaha 7 times and beat Texas 5-3 in 1989 for the school's only baseball national championship.
Well, when you think college baseball and some of the great players that have played it, Joe Carter, you just start right there. I mean, he's a man that hit .430 for his career at Wichita State. So they've had an outstanding program for a long time.
Darren Dreifert, Pat Mears,
yes.
Greg Brummett. Much like Cal State Fullerton, where Augie was. The name may not pop to you if you don't know college baseball. They're playing with the big names, and they're getting the same type of kids, too. And that's what they're trying to get back to. As you see Sam Hilliard, who's a Texas product. He's from Mansfield. Junior, big kid. Having a pretty good year, too.
He's got some close ties to the University of Texas as well.
Yes, he does. And speaking of tied, 91, Josh Sawyer looks different tonight, Keith.
Well, you can see that he is trying to say, hey, I'm a guy that can be pitching on a weekend. I told you, I really believe that right now you're at a point. If you're the Texas Longhorns, you're looking, trying to figure out of the guys you got on campus right now, you can help. How do we go win a ball game? And, hey, they give me the ball. I need to go as long as I can, show them that, hey, I want the ball on a regular basis. You seize opportunity, and this is an opportunity for Josh.
Jordan Ferris, Jr. from Ventura, California. Backhanded by Joe Baker. The long throw. And Casey Clemens digs it. Well, I've been told that he is Brandon Lloyd S. at short. That was pretty nice, huh?
That was well played. Perfect mechanics here. Watch him go to his right. Comes up quickly, uses the turf. It's all about defense sometimes playing the game of baseball, and Joe Baker made an outstanding defensive play. You can see him going to the right here, and watch right as he gets the ball how quickly he gets to his feet. He doesn't have the full arm strength all the way back from his injury, but he's done a nice job of understanding and using the turf, but it was about how quickly he got off the ground after the backhand. That's a good point for young infielders. I've got to get up. Some people say, oh, throw from the ground or do whatever. Get up, get to your feet, and you got to get there quickly. Baker did it exceptionally well right there, Kevin.
And a great point you make. He's still coming off of the arm injury. His arm strength is not where it's going to be.
But he understands, and he's using the turf. That was a throw planned out when he released the baseball to use the turf.
Casey Clemens fouls that off. What shortstop? Is there a Ozzie Smith, Gary Templeton, who stood out, who used the turf better than anyone else?
Ozzie Smith, because he never had a great arm. Put it this way, my career batting average in Major League Baseball would be 20 points higher without Ozzie Smith. He played short left field and threw me out all over the place. He used to start laughing when I came to the plate because he was playing rover.
That's funny. 1-1.
Well, I say all the time that Ron Sandberg would never have the 2 home run games against Ozzie Smith. I'm 2 batters later with the runner in scoring position, and I thought I hit a base hit up the middle. Ozzie Smith made an unbelievable play to throw me out to send it into the 10th.
Were you rounding first?
I was couldn't even believe it.
Keeley makes that play, and there's 1 out. Struck well by Clemens.
But you know, to play, when you play on the synthetic turf field, I remember Travis Tucker, when he played here, it really did a great job when he went to his right as a second baseman of understanding and using the turf and how do you get up and how you get off the turf. You know, they work out on it every day. And the other little thing, if you get to the ballpark early, watch how some of these guys take their ground balls and what they do. They work on making the great play. You don't make a great play without working on those type of plays in pregame.
A lot of second basemen that have made that play here. Think about Bill Bates, Todd Haney, guys that really were able to utilize the turf and knew what they were doing.
And most times the middle infielders.
Yep. Take a look at Burns. Zane Gurwitz, you do notice something a little different here. Zane's been struggling, was the hottest hitter in the fall for Texas, but a little bit of an open stance here, Keith.
He's trying to get himself where he can get both eyes on the baseball. I do like the move. He was getting himself so tied up, and he's left eye dominant, and when you're front eye and you can get both eyes on the ball, it makes you have a tendency to not open your body up, because that's what he was doing. At least this way, he's got to close to go hit it. It gives him the opportunity to see the ball. That's a good note for young hitters as well if you're having trouble seeing the baseball.
Pitch there, counts full.
It may take him a while still to get strike zone recognition, because it'll take a little bit, because that's a totally different view for him.
Struck well off of Williams, and Burns can't make the play. That's probably going to go down as a hit, I would believe. Second hit for the Longhorns.
Gurwitz gets a fastball. This one out over the plate. Good extension on it. And he tried to sort of skate save it here. This is where he kicks his foot. Watch him kick his foot. Try to kick it with his foot and get his glove down. Infield knock. Sometimes when you're really struggling, as Zane's been struggling, any kind of knock's a good knock.
Absolutely. Turns the lineup over for Joe Baker. That's already a huge positive for Texas. They've gone through the lineup here in the second.
Now, you don't see Coach Carrillo use it very often, but this is a great time to hit and run right here. Try to force the issue. You've been struggling to score runs. I mean, 1-0 count. It's a good time to run. Zane runs well. Baker's a good contact hitter.
He's hitting 417 when runners are on, 158 when the bases are empty.
It's not necessarily that you're going to use it, but these are what you think about when you're managing a club or the head coach. All right, I'm trying to get counts so we can be aggressive offensively.
Corner, 1-1.
If you stay right there with the fastball, you're going to have a lot of success at that velocity. I mean,
it's firm. He goes back to it at 92, and it's 1-2.
Anything from the mid thigh to the knee, outer half of the plate, 90+ miles an hour, if you can make that pitch consistently, you're going to have a lot of success at every level.
David Wiley does have a bigger zone, but it is a consistent zone.
Well, he's always been an excellent home plate umpire. I mean, he's one of the better college baseball.
No, he is. And if you watch some of the umpiring this year, you get a David Wiley and you think, man, it's nice to have.
The chapter here in the Austin area is an excellent chapter.
John Bible is also working this game. This is line to right field. Base hit. Gurwitz will make the turn. Runners on the corners, and there's one out.
Well, we do get a little hit and run. It was just later in the count, as Gurwitz was off with the pitch right there. Vacated the right side. You can see Gurwitz off with the pitch. Perfectly executed hit and run. And that's how you create offense. Baker does a nice job staying on top. Tough pitch to hit. Just stayed through it and stayed on top of it.
You had to be looking fastball in the outside corner, though, right?
Oh, you have to in that scenario after 2 consecutive really nice pitches out there.
Beautiful night here in Austin. Longhorns desperately needed to get some offense going, and they've gotten that early on. Here's Brooks Marlowe, sacrificed and reached on an error by Burns, the second baseman.
There's a move right there you see still in college that you can no longer see in Major League Baseball. It is now a balk in Major League Baseball, but it's still a play that still at times can get somebody. But you cannot use it in Major League Baseball now.
Well, you think about when that was used in Omaha, Miami back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
That really popularized that. I believe that was Wichita State, too, was it not?
You know, I thought it might have been the game before, but it could have been Wichita State very easily.
To left field. Hello, Texas offense. It's 3-0 Horns.
That's an outstanding piece of hitting for the senior Brooks Marlowe from Giddings. He goes down. This ball's almost on the bottom of the zone, but stays with it. Doesn't try to pull it. Goes the other way. And they have scored in each of the first 2 frames and won the first 2 frames. Scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second.
I'm trying to get back to inning by inning, pitch by pitch. It sounds cliche, but we're going to play at the level that Keith and these guys want to play at. That's how you do it.
You got to get back to basics sometimes. I mean, at some point, the little bitty things help you win a baseball game. There's just no doubt about it. It's such a hard game. It's so hard to hit. You know, the best in the game fail more than they're successful. I mean, the best hitters in Major League Baseball fail 7 out of 10 times, and if you're good 3 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame a lot if you do it for a career. So it's a game that you have to overcome failure and find a way to deal with it.
Best way to put it, you're in the Hall of Fame at the highest level if you fail 70% of the time at your craft.
And I don't know of any other sport that goes that way.
Any other job like that. Maybe meteorologist. 3-0 Texas. Ben Johnson now up. Ben has stolen a bag, scored. Into a fielder's choice, but was able to leg it out. Beat the double play.
The inconsistency with the strike zone is what's caused Williams to struggle here. He's been better with the fastball here, but Texas has almost disregarded his breaking ball because he hasn't been in the strike zone. When he's been in the strike zone with it, it's been up.
You don't mean David Wiley's strike zone, you mean his strike zone.
Yes.
Not been able to find it. Runner takes off to short. It's going to be a tough play, and there's going to be no play. Ben Johnson just beat it out, and Texas has something cooking here.
Well, just tied him up inside. Would have broke his bat if it was a wooden bat, but still with Johnson's speed able to beat it out. You can see this, just ate him up inside with the movement And once Vickers, the shortstop, has to make the play because the third baseman was breaking. When he's breaking over to cover the bag, Ferris is covering the bag. He can't go get the baseball, so Vickers has to come get it. Once that happens, Johnson was going to beat it out easily.
Tres Barrera walked back in the first.
Texas would love to separate themselves right here. I'm talking about something into the gap, some slugging percentage right now. Maybe put this thing away early.
They haven't scored more than 4 runs in this 7-game losing streak. On the verge of getting their 4th run here in the 2nd inning.
Well, it's a good day to hit. Wind blowing out. We watched the ball carry out of here all day today. You can look for one fastball in one spot, and Barrera will not get cheated here.
To left. This should get a run home. Tagging and scoring is Baker, and Barrera gets the job done. He was not cheated.
Barrera likes the ball up. He got it, did his job, just caught it a little bit on the label. But got the job done. 2-spot in both frames. You see this ball be up in the zone, right about the top of the shoulders, and he gets good extension on it. Get it airborne, and that's exactly what he did.
Here's up C.J. Hinojosa. Doubled and knocked one in an inning ago. CJ, the junior, now at 212 after the double. Runners will advance or try to. Throw is down there, and he got him. And Brooks Marlowe tried to get a little greedy, and Arns was all over it. Texas, though, with a couple runs, and exactly what this team needed. They lead by 4 after 2. How you think of college baseball? These two names jump up pretty quickly. Texas and Wichita State. 2 teams played for it all in 1989. You see Pat Mears and the great pitchers, Greg Brummett, Darren Dreifert for Wichita State, and obviously the trio or the foursome there, which was the '83 national championship for Texas. And we head to the 3rd inning. We were talking about the Grand Illusion play in 1982. That was sure. Miami and Wichita State.
Right. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. Got the information that it was. And again, great players, great program, and when you look after this, pitch gets hit into the air, and well, that ball is carrying real well tonight. It's one of those nights where every time that ball leaves the bat, you think, I'm not sure. Is this breeze blowing out really to the left field corner, but helping everything in the air? It's a warmer day here. We're getting to the mid-April, and this turf gets warm, ball starts carrying.
Yes, it does. We'll bring up Bob Arns. Bob catching. He's from Wichita, senior. Well, I actually was able to spend some time with Gene Stevenson in his last regional ever. And the regional that Kansas State won, was able to call that for ESPN, and it really was a pleasure to be able to talk to a legend like that. And you got the sense he knew that it was coming to an end, but he also knew that it was quite a ride.
Oh, he was an outstanding coach. You know, see some. We'll give you some numbers momentarily of what he did during his time as a collegiate head coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that he would not be on the Mount Rushmore when you take a look at it.
Oh yeah, and this program started with basically nothing. I mean, they had to homegrown everything. As you can see, the numbers here, 78 to 2013. Look at the wins.
Yeah.
College World Series appearances, conference titles, 20 conference titles.
Well, we always we laugh at Augie's win total because it's just so ridiculously high. It's just rare to see someone that close.
You're absolutely right.
Really enjoyed talking with Gene, and Todd Butler's done a nice job of trying to pick up on that and also turn the program around a little bit. It's a one-out walk. It's the first base runner for the Shockers.
Well, those are the little things for pitching. Sometimes you're going along here, you're tired. The first 7 batters you face, you've attacked with your fastball, and you try to get a little fancy there. Use this breaking ball early and whatever. Stay on path. Sometimes as a pitcher, stay on program. Attack the strike zone with your fastball and go from there.
Trey Vickers, 9-hole hitter, shortstop. Well, I think Augie's face pretty much said it all, did it not?
Well, you look at it and say, why in that scenario? Now, I know it's sometimes difficult to get the ball to the plate. It's not as easy as it looks.
1-1. In this inning, 3 first pitch balls to all 3 guys he has faced.
Well, he'd really done a nice job of attacking ahead.
Yep. That was your key for both starters, and it's been huge. Takes a little bit off there, maybe not exactly where he wants it, but changes it up.
Rhythm and timing is disrupted. The hitter's thinking hard. You take a little off, break it over. Now it's a good time. Come back off the plate in with the fastball for me.
Didn't get in enough.
Well, it was the breaking ball, too. He took something off trying to get it in, and that speeds the bat up when you slow it down with the breaking ball, unless you're going to drop it on the back foot. He left that ball up. I still like the fastball in right here.
Keep an eye on his first base runner of the night, Arns. First time we've seen Josh Sawyer from the stretch as he's facing the freshman from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Pitch, and Vickers spoils it. Kevin Dunn, Keith Moreland here. Texas, 7-game losing streak. Wichita State comes in at 13-18. Two of the classic programs in college baseball trying to turn it around. 2-2. What are you coming with here, Keith, if you're calling this game?
Well, he has not come back inside since the first pitch of the at-bat. For me, he went with the fastball there, but he was trying to climb the ladder. I'd like to tie that right-handed hitter up on the middle part of the plate in. I think he's going to go backdoor with a breaking ball here.
2-2. That's why you caught the big leagues. Good call.
Well, we had the opportunity to see what Michael Cantu was giving, so I knew what pitch was coming. But he did a nice job of executing the pitch. Starts it out away, then brings it back, catches the corner. That's why a hitter gives up on it, and then that late bend back for a strike.
Leadoff man Michael Burns grounded out to Joe Baker at shortstop to get this game going.
Josh has been very economical with his pitches to this point. Now, he has struggled a few more pitches in this inning because he's been falling behind.
Snap throw. Getting back is Arns. Casey Clemens.
Cantu just takes away the running game.
You're exactly right.
It takes it out. Takes it out of play. A left-handed pitcher and Michael Cantu behind the plate, you're not going to steal many bags.
Change up is low, 2-1. What do you see from his changeup?
Well, I like his harder breaking ball than his softer breaking ball because I believe he slows his motion down. I'd rather see him go with the hard breaking ball than I had the slower one at this point. But you still got to work. You still got to get better at that. You still got to get your mechanical situation better. That time didn't push off. That did not look good mechanically. And Michael Cantu started out. That's as a young catcher. That's when you go out right now. I know people don't like to take time in a game, but there's certain times you need to make a point. And right now, Sawyer's losing mental. His little focus is not as good as it was earlier. So when he's a catcher, you go out there and get his attention.
20th pitch of the inning is in there for a strike, and we're full. Arms will be taken off here.
4-0 lead. I wouldn't try to get anything fancy or do anything special. Here's my fastball, hit it.
Even though the wind's blowing out, it's a big park. Have fun with it.
If you put it in the right location, he's not going to get the barrel of the bat on the ball.
And Michael Burns struggling as well. He's hitting 183. Be ball 4.
So I do not like the pitch selection there. 4-0 lead to a breaking ball. It leads to the second walk of the inning. And all of a sudden now, wind is blowing out. Ball gets in the air here and finds a way to get out of the ballpark. All of a sudden, you got a much different ball game.
When you walk a guy in Burns who was 1 for 25 against left-handers this season. Gets back to your point, try to make them hit it. Skip and Augie look on here as Michael Muka will step to the plate. He is from Aurora, Colorado. Breaking ball catches his own.
Well, that's a good pitch to start a left-handed hitter. Gives you some options. But I'd still be on attack right here if I was Sawyer.
Marsh had an 8-pitch first inning, 12-pitch second inning, and now he's at 22 here in the third. Looks like he's going to get out of it, though. Casey Clemens is going to take it himself, and a couple walks for the left-hander, but no damage. We played 2.5. Texas leads.
He started.
Texas leads Wichita State here on Texas Tuesday. Kevin Dunn and Keith Moreland. Beautiful night here in Austin. Longhorns coming to bat here with C.J. Hinojosa, Michael Cantu, and Colin Shaw due up. Chase Williams out for his third inning of work. C.J. doubled, knocked in a run back in the first inning. Keith, the first thing you said, you like when he's aggressive. He's an aggressive hitter.
I do. I think he's the type of guy that doesn't need to go try to work counts or whatever. I think he needs to go see ball and hit it. It sounds very simple, and there's certain guys that can do that. He adjusts well. He doesn't go outside the zone very often when he's in that manner. I think he chases more pitches out of the strike zone when he's trying to work counts than he does to just see ball and hit it, because if you instantly recognize the ball's out of the zone probably quicker when you're really thinking about hitting than you do when you're, oh, I'm down 1 and 2 because I've taken 3 pitches.
Yeah. He's got 4 strikeouts in his last 19 games. It's 72 at-bats. He had 10 strikeouts in his first 13 games. Not that that's a tell-all, but an interesting stat on where CJ is. Gets in on him, not happy about it. Calling it off will be Ferris, and there's 1 out.
Still like the at-bat. He worked the count, got a pitch to hit. It just had enough movement at 90+ miles an hour, tied him up inside inner half of the plate. Still not a bad at-bat for me in the sense I felt like he was aggressive and worked the count and got a pitch to hit. Just didn't quite get on top of it. Sometimes the pitcher makes the ball move, and you just can't do the things you need to do. And Williams has got enough stuff. He can, it's not coming in there just nice and smooth saying hit me.
I was about to say, he does have a couple walks and he's given up 5 hits, but it's not because of lack of stuff.
It's a lack of location right now. See what he does here to Michael Cantu after getting ahead in the count.
Michael Cantu. Two. And then he'll drop pitches like that. And you think, man, he's got a future.
His breaking balls, it's been better in this inning than it was in the first 2 frames.
0-2. Blew it by him. And that was impressive by Chase Williams, his 2nd strikeout. Well, the Red River rivalry shifts to the baseball and softball diamonds this weekend. Texas will host Oklahoma in a 3-game series. And that's in both sports. It begins Friday, softball 4:30 Central, and then baseball at 7 p.m. Central right here on the Longhorn Network. And of course, you can check it out at Watch ESPN. Colin Shaw flied out or struck out his last time up, and looks like got some softball players out here. Tierra Davis, Lindsey Stevens. They were able to win earlier today, and it's always nice you get a W and then you can come check out the boys, right?
Yeah, walk right across the street. I'm sure some fans have been in attendance in both ball games as well.
One and two.
Well, if you're Coach Butler, Wichita State, you're liking what you're seeing out of your young right-hander right now. You know, he's struggled in the first 2 innings. In this inning, he's come out and made some exceptional pitches.
Well, Todd said, he said, you're going to like the stuff. And then he paused and said, I hope he's around the plate.
Well, he knows. He's trying to get there, you know, trying to work on that release point and that confidence. And you can get this guy dialed in. He's got the type of stuff. He can be a Friday night #1. I mean, 91 to 94 with your fastball and a really good breaking ball. That guy can be pitching for a living.
Mm-hmm. Get paid like you did. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Texas scored 2 in every frame.
Just got underneath that breaking ball that time. You can see he tried to put a little bit extra on it, just cut underneath it. It didn't try to break until late. It didn't have any downward motion. Sometimes you overthrow a breaking ball just like you can a fastball.
Shaw spoils that. Have you seen anything mechanically with Colin? We talked about Tress and CJ and Zane. What are you seeing from him?
Well, he handles the ball so well inside, especially the ball down. He's had a tendency to swing at more pitches up and out of the zone than we've seen him, especially away from him, where he was taking early in the season. He was taking that pitch.
We just saw that on the 7th pitch of this at bat. Here comes the 8th. And that was a strike.
And a pretty good job of defending the plate. That's what I call that. Is it eats you up because it's a really good fastball. You're just defending the plate. Live to get another pitch.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Delivery from Chase Williams to first. Tinkham will take it himself, and easily the best inning for Chase Williams in his first 1, 2, 3 inning. So Wichita State will come up. They got 3, 4, 5 due up. They'll be taking on Josh Sawyer, who was chatting with the legendary pitching coach Skip Johnson a couple innings ago.
Warm up aggressively in between the innings, like it's game speed. Prepare your mind from the get-go. You don't just lob balls in there. Prepare your mind from the get-go, because that's the difference. And then you got hooked up. As soon as all of a sudden you get 3-0, I'm going to start competing now. You understand?
Keeping Austin wired as you take a look at Skip and Augie. Interesting point there, Keith, and for a guy who caught in the big leagues, I'm curious that your reaction to that conversation.
I always felt like in between innings that so many times players, especially pitchers, they lob the ball in, think it was all that nice and good. Carlos Zambrano was one of them. There was a long-time big league pitcher. He just tossed the ball in. I said, how did you ever get a feel for it? And that's what Skip Johnson's talking about. Go compete when you get on the mound. You get out there, get yourself loose. I don't mind the first pitch that I throw being okay, but from that point on, make pitches like you're pitching. I know the other team's able to watch what you're doing, but it's going to get me prepared to make pitches when it counts, when the game's on the line.
As a Cubs fan, and you were a Cub and will always be a Cub and broadcasted, Carlos Zambrano probably not the best guy to model your career work ethic after.
No, he had tremendous stuff at times,
right.
But you're absolutely right. But I used to watch guys that really didn't go out and get prepared to pitch and compete. As Skip talked right there, he says, be ready to compete when the hitter steps in, because you got to get 3 outs in each inning, and hopefully you can get it done in 8 pitches, as Josh Sawyer did in the first.
Right.
That was a conversation before that 3rd inning.
Yes, it was.
Where he used nearly 22 pitches.
Start Ryan Tinkham off with the breaking ball. Ryan flied out to center field back in the 2nd. Excuse me, this is actually Daniel Keeley. Ryan's on deck. These are really the 2 guys that need to get going for them. You got Hilliard, who's hitting over 300 after Tinkham, but it's a club that came in hitting 270 as a team. Joe Baker again and again, he got him.
Oh, this is nice. Played the hop perfectly. Watch him get low. He had to go to his right. And he gets down where he gets his eyes close to the baseball. And then you can see his arm strength coming back. That is a long throw, 125 feet right there to his feet quickly. Finds his target with his eyes. That was a great shot right there, guys. You can see his eyes as he quickly found his target.
Oh, this time he can't make the play. It's off of his glove, and Ryan Tinkham's going to have the first hit of the game for Wichita State. One of the reasons they have Baker there is that CJ is probably a little bit more comfortable than Baker at 3rd, but clearly both guys are comfortable at short.
Well, this had so much velocity on it, and you could see Joe pound the turf. He made the move and made the right direction to get the baseball, but the ball was hit very crisply. I mean, that's a rocket right there. When you hit a rocket to your right, sometimes the ball scoots by you, and that's exactly what happened to him. He went to cross over, and the ball was scooting and scooted by him.
Sam Hilliard, the Texan, he's a junior from Mansfield, and struck out back in the 2nd. Lefty-lefty matchup.
Land foot just went out from under him right there for Sawyer. His left foot went to land, and you could see it just slide out from under him. Went to the ground trying to shake it off. That right leg, which is his land foot, just caught in between. You know, got a right-hander going and a left-hander going. A lot of times there's 2 different holes on the mound, 2 different areas, and if you're just a little bit off, you catch a different landing spot, lose your balance.
Ooh, watch out. That's going to be caught in the net. The bat now dropping. A nice little snag over there.
Little pine tar.
Sam had already gotten a new stick.
Well, this is one of them. They don't have this in the Olympics, I don't believe, but that would be that's a near record toss. I've seen some great tosses, and stuck in the fence just for a second and into the Longhorn dugout.
No harm, no foul. Is that embarrassing when you're up there and that happens?
You know, it's really not. It's a note for a young player. If you're squeezing a bat so hard that it never has come out of your hand, you're squeezing the bat too hard. You want the bat to be light in your hand. You know, when your hand's not real tight, it allows your wrist and everything to work faster and more properly. You don't want the bat tucked way back in your hand where you're holding on. Seen a lot of hitters, and I know you have too, Kevin, that the right hand, the top hand for a left-handed, right-handed hitter comes off the bat.
Yeah.
Albert Pujols.
Yeah. Well, Sawyer has kind of lost his stuff, or at least lost his accuracy the last couple innings. Skip's going to come out and have a talk with him.
I don't think at this point, for me, I'm not sure I would be making a move here. But you want to come back out here and say you got to go to competing, and it's pretty much a one-sided conversation. You can see that it's just saying it says there's no excuses right now. You got to attack them, come right at them. You got to throw strikes. The only way they're at this point they're going to get back in the game is you let them back in the game with free passes. I mean, the base hit, you give up a base hit, you give up a base hit, but you walk the next guy. That allows the team back into the game.
Saw Travis Duke and Jake McKenzie double barrel action in the Longhorn bullpen.
Well, the Longhorns have played a ton of baseball. 18 innings Friday night, 9 on Saturday, 9 on Sunday. They used over the course of the weekend, and then last Tuesday night against UT Pan Am, they used 9 pitchers.
Yeah.
Then they turn around and use 5, 4, and 5 over the weekend. So they've used a lot of different arms. So they need some length out of Sawyer here tonight.
Jordan Ferris takes a first pitch strike. What do you and Greg say? It's what, at 96%, 97% after a little visit, you're going to see a fastball.
I'm looking first pitch fastball every time.
And Jordan got one for a strike. 1-1.
Tried to backdoor him with a breaking ball there. I like coming back in here and establishing the middle part of the plate in right now. In on the hands. They went away, but I like the fastball. When Sawyer has had success tonight and the other parts of the year, he's good with his fastball. Hits locations and able to establish strikes with it.
We saw that fastball the first 2 innings. He did not allow any base runners. That's 2 innings and 4 guys on. Two and 2.
Well, you want to make it happen here. Do not want to go 3-2. I think Coach Butler would probably put him in motion at that point. Try to put some pressure on the defense, and all of a sudden, tying runs got an opportunity to come to the plate.
Sawyer maybe thinking they could be going 2-2. Ryan Tinkham is at second. Saying Hilliard is at first.
I like it. Tried to get that fastball in there. Didn't quite get it all the way inner half. Left it a little bit more on the inner third of the plate. Didn't get that inside corner. But back it up. You've heard Greg say to you, Greg Swindell talk about, doubling up. Double pitches up. Fastball in, come right back with it.
Counts full.
I don't like the off-speed pitch right there. Now you pretty much got to come with a fastball. As a hitter, well, I'm pretty much think I'm going to get a fastball too.
Let's see if the runners are taking off too. They're not going. It's fouled out of play.
Challenged him though. I like that. This is where you got to not worry so much about the corner. You hear the term trust your stuff. You just got to, here it is.
Pick off at second.
Timing play was put on by Michael Cantu, the catcher. Sawyer not looking back at second. Cantu flashes his glove or flashes a sign down that tells Sawyer to reverse pivot and throw to second because Marlowe's coming in behind.
Big pitch, and he rings him up. Fourth strikeout for Sawyer.
Right at the top of the strike zone, but I believe it is a strike. I'm not sure as a hitter what Ferris is thinking about. That's just above the belt, definitely below the numbers. He gets a huge strikeout on his 60th pitch of the night.
Gunnar Troutwine will step up. 2 outs, 2 on still. He's not had a consistent feel for that off-speed pitch.
He's made some good pitches with it, but never early in counts. Seems like to start off a hitter, he's missed with it every time.
To right center. This could be trouble. Shaw cannot get there. It splits the gap. 2 runs are coming home, and the Shockers have cut the lead in half.
Well, you go back to missing with the breaking ball, Kevin. You knew as a hitter right there you were going to get a fastball. You got to give Troutwine credit. He didn't try to pull it, went with it, used this breeze. This ball out over the plate. Boy, he put a good swing on that. Didn't try to pull it. You can just see the breeze keep blowing that away from both Shaw and Gerwitz. When you see the back of those numbers, you know it's over. And so is the night for Josh Sawyer.
Skip happy, I'm sure, with the first couple innings for Josh Sawyer. A couple walks in the third and a single and a double, and this thing is close. We'll give the numbers on Jake McKenzie.
Stay connected.
Welcome back. Texas Tuesday. We're in the 4th inning. Josh Sawyer's night is done. Gave up a couple runs here.
Really pitched pretty well. Struggled a little bit in those last 2 frames with his command. He pitched out of it, made a good pitch to get out of it in the 3rd. But in the 4th here, again, the 1-out walk is the difference. He was able to spot his fastball in and out. Did a nice job against the left-handers. Backdoor breaking ball, get a strikeout there. Back-to-back strikeouts, as a matter of fact, with runner in scoring position. But here in the 4th, though, he made a mistake, fell behind 3 of the 4 batters in the inning, and when he fell behind Troutwine, he doubled into right center, knocked him out of the game.
So Jake McKenzie, your new guy for Texas. Jake is a freshman, infielder and relief pitcher. He's known for his really nasty slider, but start off with a changeup.
Well, again, a lot of pitchers for Texas have been used over the last few ball games. You know, the 15-inning game in Nebraska a couple of weeks ago, an 18-inning game Friday night at Oklahoma State. So the innings have piled up for this staff. There's no doubt about that.
1-1.
They did get almost 4 out of Sawyer. I think they were trying to get 5 full out of Sawyer tonight. He started out great.
1-2 to Bob Arns.
Don't hang that in there. Not with the wind blowing out the way it is. They made a mistake and got away with it.
Guys hitting 371. He's have a couple bombs this year. Two and two. Well, the slider's definitely his out pitch. It's about, see if he can sneak the other stuff by people.
Right, but he's just, you got to stay away with it. Can't leave it in. Mistakes have got to be off of the plate away, not off the plate in.
Got him there. Caught him looking. Jake McKenzie comes in. He's able to pick up his buddy Josh Sawyer, but the Shockers get a pair. Don't forget, A must-watch. Tiger, Rory, Phil, Bubba, and Texas X Jordan Spieth look to wear the green jacket at Augusta National. ESPN brings you the coverage of the first and second round of the Masters Thursday and Friday. That's 3 Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Jordan Spieth will tee off Thursday at 12:15 Central. And Tiger Woods is going to tee off at 12:48. And my partner to the right is scratching off a bucket list item.
I am going to go over for Thursday and Friday. I'll be back with you and Greg on Saturday and Sunday. Can't wait to see Ben there. Play with Bill Haas and Jason Duffner. And then, of course, Jordan playing there in the afternoon on Thursday. Get to see them Thursday and Friday and be back here for a little Horns baseball on Saturday afternoon.
Not a bad weekend. This will be the last Masters for Longhorn legend and Austinite Ben Crenshaw. Great guy, and obviously means a tremendous amount to this university as John Hayes is your new pitcher, making his 13th appearance. And a pretty big Austin contingent going up there to say goodbye to Mr.
the last
Crenshaw.
time that he's going to play as a full-time participant. And hope he has a good first round, puts himself in position maybe to make a cut. I would love to see him make the cut and be around over the weekend.
It'll be fun. 2-1 to Casey Clemens. Casey flied out to center field back in the second inning. He had the count here 3-1.
Power sinker. When this young man on the mound is right, the ball really runs down and into the right-handers and down and away from the left-handers.
To second.
Casey's hit 2 balls right pretty well. That's, again, hitting is such a hard thing to do. You can hit the ball twice hard. He's still headed back to the dugout. And you sit there and sort of shake your head and go, you know, I haven't done anything wrong. Hit a ball well into right center. I'm out. I hit a ball to Hopper well right on the barrel of the bat to the second baseman, and I'm 0 for 2. Nobody said this game was fair.
No, it's not. Zane Gurwitz singled and came around to score in the second inning. Texas with 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Wichita State able to answer with 2 of their own in the top half of the fourth.
Well, you and I talk before we go on the air, as we do every time. What do you think? What do you know, for Texas to offense to get going? I know he's hitting 9th in the order. This guy's got to get going. This guy's a better offensive player than his start here to the 2015 campaign, no question.
See Joe Baker, who's on deck. He's 1 for 1. He's made some nice defensive plays. Well, Augie told me, he said Zane was by far the best offensive guy we had in the fall. And I think he just put too high of expectations on himself and kind of got out of his game.
Yeah, and you look at this point, and it's disappointing because he's approaching 100 at bats on the year. So that's half of the season. I mean, college season's 225, 230 at bats if you get deep into the playoffs. And so he's almost one of those situations where you want to just clean the slate and say, I'm hitting 0-0-0. I got no at bats.
Yeah.
And start over.
Yep. Here is the freshman from McKinney at 281 now. Walked and scored in the first, and then singled and scored in the second.
A really nice hit and run was a major part of that 2 runs. Gurwitz after his 1-out single. Same scenario here.
Baker got a fastball in the outer half and hit it where it was pitched. Took a lot off on that. One through 5 hitters been much more productive tonight. To center field, another hit for Baker, and Gurwitz is going to try and take third. He's got it. Good night for the freshman.
Good base running again there by Gurwitz. This is recognition, knowing as soon as this ball leaves the bat right there, Zane Gurwitz at first base knows it's going to fall in. He got tied up just a little bit, got the front half down, and got it on the barrel. But you can see Gurwitz right here. He recognizes it's down, never pauses, puts his head down, hits the inside corner of the bag, and easily over to third. Much different scenario, first and third, than first and second.
Good to see some smiles, too. Baker now 7 for 14 with runners on this year. 2 for 2 tonight. See if the Longhorns can answer the runs that the Shockers put up.
Well, Marlowe did a really nice job his last time up in this scenario. Getting the run in. It's all about run production right now. As a hitter, stay away from the double play. Look for the ball up. Look for something I can get into the outfield. And let's win the frame again. You got to score a couple in this frame to win this frame. But good teams answer, and that's what Texas has been unable to do so far. They've been able to get some leads, but when another team has answered them, they haven't been able to answer back.
Pitch to hit, 2-1. TCU's leading Dallas Baptist 6-2. That's in the 7th.
A lot of good games in the conference here tonight. A lot of good intersectional games.
To center field. This is going to bring home a run. And taking third is going to be Baker. 5-3 Longhorns. Second RBI for Marlowe.
And the top of the order continues to produce. We showed you that graphic earlier. Marlowe does a nice job staying right there, keeping his hands on top of it, getting the ball airborne. And then finds the synthetic turf in the outfield. Good base running again by Baker to get to third.
Baker at third. Marlowe at first. Top part of the Texas lineup producing. Here's Ben Johnson. Got an RBI and scored a run in the first. Singled back in the second.
Harris has had a tough time getting on top of his breaking ball. He's a big man. His sinker's been pretty good, but Texas has done a nice job of forcing him to get the ball up. And his breaking ball has not been over the plate on a consistent basis. And this is going to be a conversation about that. To say, look, got to find a way to find a feel for your breaking ball. The only thing he's been able to consistently get over the plate is his fastball.
And the most runs Texas has had in that 7-game losing streak was 4. He surpassed that with 5 tonight. Like I said, I think the talent's there. The confidence level is not right now, and you talk about hitting and confidence. They go hand in hand.
Yes, they do. Also, the energy level has been good. I mean, the games over the weekend at Oklahoma State felt like the team was had good energy and good effort. Maybe not as intelligent hitting, a little over-aggressive. And when you start trying in baseball, you're in trouble.
Did go around.
Well, that was one of the few times you saw a visit to the mound and the pitcher threw a breaking ball.
How's that back? Well, the scoreboard has 2-1. I think
it's 0-2, isn't it?
Or I think it's 1-2.
1-2?
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to get that changed right now. It is 1-2. Hit sharply. Nice play as he looked back both guys, and that gets back to what you talk about. You can't hit it any harder.
Well, did everything you could do as a hitter, and you walk back to the dugout, unable to get that guy in for third. And you can't do it any better than you just did it. You hit a rocket off the bat, take one step out of the box, and Vickers, the shortstop's holding the baseball. Nobody said it was going to be. Nobody said it was going to be easy or fair.
2 outs for Barrera. Fouled off in foul territory, but making the play is Ferris. So Texas done here in the 4th. Able to get a run home. They lead by 3. We'll talk with Augie when we get back. Texas Tuesday, Longhorns lead Wichita State 5-2 as we head to the 5th inning. Joining us now, head coach Augie Garrido. Coach, we talked at length yesterday about what you were trying to do offensively and trying to get some runs scored. What have you seen tonight?
Well, I think they're more relaxed at the plate. Even Ben's out was really a hard hit ball, I think we're doing a better job with our strike zone too. We're taking more pitches, get ourselves into better counts.
Carrying that a step forward. Situational baseball. I think you saw Joe Baker going the other way with a runner running. Little bitty things, coach. You know, it's sometimes offense is about scoring runs. It's not about getting hits.
It's all about scoring runs. You know, you go back to the weekend and you look and you think to yourself, because of the 3 losses, that there was a terrific difference between the teams hitting. They had 3 more hits than we did. It's about runs.
It's all about runs. Funny sport. Coach, thank you.
You bet.
9-1-2 due up for the Shockers here in the 5th. Trey Vickers, shortstop.
And to add to just what Coach is talking about right there, for me, it's also the slugging, the extra base hits. I mean, hit balls, because the difference in this game, you know, the Shockers got back in the game with an extra base hit. And that, you know, it's just what it takes. Both runs scored on the opposite field double.
That's when you look up and you see 2 runs, 2 hits for Wichita State, 5 runs, 7 hits for the Longhorns. Jake McKenzie out for his first full inning of work.
You want to come back and establish the strike zone. Anytime you've got a lead, no free passes.
4-pitch walk to start the inning off to the 9-hole hitter.
Well, that'll put gray hairs on the top of your head. It just will. Thinking, well, you know, we're doing things offensively. We've got 7 base hits in the game. Come right back out and 4-pitch walk. Back to the top of the order as well.
Michael Burns walked his last time up. Michael Cantu looked over. He was waiting to see Skip come out, so he's going to make the trip himself.
Well, he's a true freshman, but you still get you're the leader out there. You're the catcher. Everything's in front of you. You know, that's when I'm more vocal. I mean, it might be my best friend that's pitching, but it may not be nice what I say. I'm going out there and say, hey, what are you doing? Let's go. I mean,
it's your best friend. You know, sometimes you feel like you can get on him a little more.
Yeah, let's go. Just like that. Come back. Let's throw strikes. You got guys playing defense behind you. They're sitting out there waiting on you to put it over the plate where they can hit it.
What did Augie say? I don't know who created this game. I mean, you got 9 guys against 1. That's not fair math.
It doesn't work out well, does it?
Jake has seemed to throw his changeup a lot tonight. Slider usually his out pitch. This could be 2. Baker to Marlowe to Clemens, 6-4-3.
Your defense is right there to work. Exactly the point I was making. Throw a strike, force the hitter to put it in play, and let your defense work. Excellent feed here by Baker. Marlowe across, uses the bag for defense. Strong arm across to get the out.
Trying to get something straight as Michael Muka be the Shocker batter.
I think we're going to have a pitching change here.
Texas has had some guys warming up. You see Kyle Johnston, the right-hander, and I think it's going to be John Mauman, the lefty, who's going to get the call.
You see Skip Johnson having a conversation. Yes, you made a pitch to get a double play, but 4-pitch walk. You're always coaching. And sometimes when you have success is the best time to coach. Because you had some success. You made a good pitch, you got the double play, but hey, the reason that you were in that jam is because of the leadoff walk.
Well, 5-2 our score here. 5-3 is the score most fans, Texas fans and Wichita State fans, think of when these two programs meet. Longhorns and Shockers faced off in the 1989 College World Series. Texas was undefeated. Wichita State had a loss, but it was the first year that they had gone to CBS. So it was one and done, and Wichita State won it 5-3. Texas started Scott Bryant. And Brian Dare, the lefty, was able to come in. I think by that 89 team, Texas A&M was really the team that everyone expected to certainly get to Omaha, but that was the team in Texas that everyone thought was going to be the team. Texas lost 2 out of 3 to them in College Station that year. But I mean, you think about it, Wichita State, especially in Omaha, man, they've been pretty good against Texas. Only 3 games, but they are 3-0 in Omaha, and obviously the biggest one, that 1989 game. I had people tweet me earlier, Keith, saying, "Don't bring it up, man. Please don't bring it up."
Well, it was nerve-wracking. Obviously, I was still playing at the big leagues at the time, but we were all watching because I had a night game that day and was watching the game. The game was a little bit delayed because of the moisture that was on the field that day. But you look at these two programs, both of them. When you talk college baseball, somebody will mention the name. You say Texas, oh yeah, they got a great college program. You mentioned Wichita State, the same thing.
Yeah.
You have the same, and that's what Coach Butler's trying to get back to, is when you mention baseball, you think about not only the Southeast Conference teams, the teams in the Big 12 and the teams out in the Pac-12, but you start thinking about Wichita and some of the other programs, the ACC programs, which hasn't won a championship in a while, but there's some really good programs in the ACC as well.
The ACC has not won it since 1955 when Wake Forest was able to win it. Now, obviously, Miami has won it, but they were not in the ACC at the time. Here is John Mauman, the left-hander, making his 10th appearance, 2.46 ERA. What has stood out about him this year?
Well, he's got to be able to throw his changeup. He's got an excellent changeup on the outer half of the plate. He's really done a nice job, except that one number that sort of jumps up at me is not his number of hits per inning. It's amazing that his strikeout level has been as low as it has been. That for me, because he's been used mostly in a specialist situation, and especially you need to have more of a 3-to-1 strikeout ratio when you're a specialist, especially a left-handed specialist, because you're going to face a lot of left-handed hitters.
Prepping for the game today, that's the first thing that stood out. It's interesting you mentioned that. Ben Johnson will make the play, and Wichita State done here in the 5th. We'll talk with their head man when we get back. Welcome back to Texas Tuesday. Texas leads Wichita State 5-2. Two of the biggest names in college baseball getting together here on a Tuesday, and we are now pleased to be joined by the head coach, Todd Butler. Coach, you've done such a nice job at Arkansas and now making the transition here to Wichita State. How's that been for you?
It's a transition. I mean, we're kind of in the infant stages right now, and you know, if you look at our schedule, we're playing great competition. I love to play the University of Texas. I think it's great for our program, great for our players.
Coach, when you look at Chase, you were trying to get him Williams. You see what he's got. It's just trying to surround him and get him going in the right direction.
He has a power arm. He's been up to 96 with a 90 slider here at times, and I really wanted to see how he'd compete against Texas. You know, the first inning, he walked the leadoff guy, and we had a wild pitch and made an error. But, you know, he did okay. He has to get ahead in the count, and he has big stuff. I'm hoping in the second half and towards the conference tournament he really comes on.
Yeah, he was impressive, and obviously you want to get that consistency going. Coach, thank you very much for the time.
Thanks, guys.
The ball talking with Coach Butler before.
You can see Coach Butler. He's got such a energy around him. He's fun to talk to. You know why he's a good recruiter, because he's fun to be around.
Yeah, he's
I guarantee his kids have fun. And boy, I tell you what, that's a major part of college baseball. Got to have some fun playing the game.
That's what Augie's trying to get his guys to do. This is going to be a tough play, but it's made by Burns. That's always that no man's land there, and I always kid around with Greg. Billy Bates had a problem in 1985 with that type of play, but that's not an easy play, Keith.
Well, it's out there what I call the Bermuda Triangle of baseball. There's one on the right field side, there's one on the left field side, where you have three guys converting on a baseball. A lot of times you not know who's going to get there, so you can't call it. And then you have the fans that are out there calling it, saying that they want it. So that is a tough play. That's their triangle on both sides. And actually here at Dish Falk, there's not a lot of room in foul territory down the line, where in some fields and some ballparks, there's a ton of room down there. Usually it's the middle infielder that has the best chance. The outfielder is usually playing so deep he can't get there. And the first and third baseman, they're running with their back to home plate. So they're having a tough time judging where the ball's going to come down.
Think about Oakland, how much room there is. I mean,
San Francisco, Old Candlestick Park.
Hitters must hate that.
Oh, they shouldn't have never played baseball in Candlestick Park ever. And Willie Mays had 656 home runs there. That's an incredible feat.
Just a bit upstairs.
Not all of them there, but I mean, in his career, he had that many.
You said whenever they were going to go ahead and demolish that.
You just had.
That you would have flown out there.
I just couldn't get it worked out, but I would love to sit back and I might have had an adult beverage as that thing went up.
1-2 to Michael Cantu. Ring him up. Nice pitch on the corner.
That's a good fastball. This is that two-seamer. Watch it just tail back right to that point, right there. Watch the perfect point. Right knee-high, outside corner. Great view of it again here. Just tails right back. There's not much you're going to do as a hitter, any hitter, with that pitch right there.
Good-looking pitch. 2 outs for Colin Shaw. Now Colin looking for his first hit. He's really been scuffling. Struck out back in the first and grounded out to Tinkham at first to end the third inning.
That's the pitch that he's got to lay off of. Colin's a low ball hitter. Got to get back to where he was in the first half of this season so far. I mean, in those first 16 to 20 games, he was really good. He was getting the ball down where he really handles it well and laying off the pitch upstairs.
1-2. Well, he is like a lot of left-handed hitters. He does like it low. He's a good low ball hitter. Brooks Marlowe on the flip side is
more of a high ball
hitter, which is a little different. You're right. He was going. He was swinging at pitches like that.
And that's the pitch he handles well. He kept the at-bat alive.
Kevin Dunn, Keith Moreland here. Bottom of the 5th inning. Texas with a 3-run lead. Trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. That just misses. 2-2. Took something off that and got him to chase. Nice changeup from the righty. Texas still leads. Well, it's the Red River rivalry, whatever you want to call it. It's Texas and OU, and if they're playing in anything, people are going to be watching, and people certainly will be carrying on both sides of the Red River. Oklahoma, game 1 Friday, 7 Central, right here on Longhorn Network. Sooners taking it on the chin against the good old Pokes. It is now 24-2 Oklahoma State.
Well, that's a non-conference game that's played. Remember a few years ago, Texas played Baylor in some of those on Tuesday night. They don't count in the conference standing, but Bedlam, it's that extra game. And
it counts for the fans, though.
It absolutely does. And Oklahoma State really playing good baseball right now. There's no question about that. And You look at Texas needs to take care of business at home and get back to their winning ways. You go from leading the conference to the middle of the pack in one weekend.
Daniel Keeley down in the count. 1-2. This is laced but foul.
I made a mistake with the off-speed pitch there, above the belt in the middle of the dish.
John Malman, lefty for Texas. Josh Hoyer started this game. Jake McKenzie came in to relieve him, and Texas on their third pitcher. So Michael Cantu kind of raised there. What do you like about him receiving wise?
Well, I think he does a nice job of staying low in his target. He's got really soft hands. He brings the ball back to him and almost creates a funnel, Kevin. So everything funnels to the middle of his body, which I think umpires really like. This ball hits him, and that's not a good start either. Leadoff walks, these extra base runners. You've only given up 2 hits tonight. You feel like you've dominated the game to this point, but the Shockers are right in this ballgame.
Absolutely. Especially with the wind howling to left. You can see a long ball today. Good shot of the wind. I always know with you, Keith, it's the first thing you look at and you said, good day to hit.
Well, it's a good day to hit. This is one of those days where you go to home plate, you know you have a little bit of an advantage. Not a big advantage, but you know if you hit it well into the gap into the air, it's got a chance.
To left. Johnson going back. Wynn's carrying this. It's taking it, and it's gone. Just like that, a 2-run shot for Wichita State. Ryan Tinkham.
Well, we highlighted him in the open, and just exactly what we talked about, Kevin. Wynn's going out, a free pass, a bloop and a blast, we used to say, and you're right in the game, and that's exactly what happened here. He got a fastball, got it on the barrel, and got it in the air. Got good extension on it, hit it good. But what takes this out of the ballpark is this 15, 18-mile-an-hour breeze blowing out of here. Gets out of here, 380 mark, and we've got a ball game.
Yes, we do. Sam Hilliard now up. Shockers within 1.
You can see the breeze right there. Those flags blowing out really steadily to left field, and he got good extension. You can see he gets the barrel of the bat out in front side down, and watch it, a little bit of a lift and out in front, and then he gets that underneath rotation, and when he does, the breeze does the rest of it for him.
Almost looked like a right-handed Kyle Russell swing where he would get lift, and he didn't need the wind very often.
We talked about Sam Hilliard having Texas ties. Brad Sheldon, our director, his son is a very good friend of his.
It's one of his best friends.
One of his best friends, and his parents are here. Dad has a connection to the University of Texas, no question.
Yeah, there's his dad, also his mom, Dr. Jim Hilliard. It's Tamara's his mom, and Tamara was Miss Texas. Pretty talented family. Got a talented son here. And here's Jim. Sam's dad played football for Texas in 1974. His mom Miss Texas in 1984.
Few ties to the state.
I was about to say. Marlowe ranges over. The first out of the inning.
And Sam can run right there. You see him get down the line.
6'5".
Can pitch. He got down the line in a hurry right there. See him come out of the box, hustling the whole way. You see him put his head down. That's quick. 4-1, 4-2, and then that's getting down the line in a hurry.
Yeah, that is. John Malman's day is going to be done. The fireballer Kyle Johnston coming in. They want to get Johnston. They want to get him more work. They don't feel like they've given him enough work this year.
Well, he's got the type of stuff that if he can command, he can do a lot of different things. He might take the ball and start for you, be able to go 100 pitches. They've tried him in the closer's role. Consistency in the strike zone is where he has struggled. If he throws strikes, he's very successful. If pitches behind in the count, he struggles.
Well, tonight marked Kyle Johnston's first start. Well, not really his first start as a Longhorn, but tonight he's going to go ahead and come on in and try and relieve. He did make his first start on a Texas Tuesday, and we caught up with Mr. Johnston.
My favorite MLB player was Nolan Ryan growing up. The presence he had on the mound and the work ethic he had is what I wanted to kind of copy as I was growing up. I came to Texas because it's always been a dream school of mine to play baseball for. Ever since I was 9 or 10 years old, I started following Texas baseball, and this is where I've wanted to play ever since.
Oh, he wears the 34. You're going to throw hard and be a right-hander in the state of Texas. Nolan's a good guy to model yourself after.
Well, he's got great velocity like Nolan. Maybe not as consistent as Nolan was, because nobody, for his length of time that Nolan pitched in the big leagues, ever had the power that Nolan did. I mean, it was exceptional as a kid, and his last year he still had it at times was exceptional velocity. I mean,
upper 90s in his 40s.
You know, it's just one of those things. And this is a young man that's got a bright future ahead of him. Again, you can see the numbers as they bounce up right there. It's just about throwing strikes. It's about being able to pitch ahead. It's not all about velocity, but it's about strike one. And if he gets ahead of you as a hitter, you've got to get nervous, because he's got the ability to throw the fastball by you and a dynamite breaking ball to go with it. But he gets behind, you can really start zoning it out. And when you can zone out and know that, hey, I'm going to get a fastball, I can start swinging when you start warming up. So I can get there to your fastball, even though it's 96, when I know it's coming every time. But if I think that you might be able to throw me something else off speed for a strike, all of a sudden the fastball's by me.
And if you do get to it 96, 97 and square it up, it's going to go.
It's going to go. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, if you're looking for the local and get the express, you can't catch up. But if you're looking for the express and you get a bad local, you can catch up.
Jordan Ferris, junior third baseman. 2 runs in for Wichita State here. .94. Seems like he has been up at times. Jordan may be taking a strike here.
Well, the other part about that pitch is awful close to a strike right there, but you're not going to get the calls either from an umpire if you're all over the place. If you're consistently down in a spot, you start getting calls. But he has missed up and in, down and away, and up and away. There's not any consistency there. It's not like it's close, if that makes sense to for anybody listening. For an umpire or any hitter, it's about the surrounding part of the plate, rather than being totally off where it's easy to take.
Maybe a pitch away from his night being over with. 4-pitch walk. Let's see if Skip's going to come on out. Connor Mays and Ty Colbreth, double barrel action. Talked with Augie and Skip about the possibilities, trying to figure out not only offensively, but what the rotation is going to be. And I think Connor Mays is their best right-hander right now, and they need him in the pen.
Well, you've got to have that guy that consistently throws strikes coming out of the pen, Kevin. I think that's what they're looking at. Can I trust the strike zone? Yeah, that's a good start here. Now see if you can come back and use that. To me, mechanically, Kyle is much more sound mechanically out of the stretch than he is the windup.
Gunnar Troutwine, the designated hitter for Wichita State. One and one. That's maybe a pitch you get if you have been around the zone.
You're right. And I totally agree with that.
Gunnar with a 2 RBI double in the 4th. That got the Shockers on the board. A 2-run homer by Ryan Tinkham in this inning. We have a ball game. A little off, 1 and 2.
Great pitch right there. Make another good pitch right here. You get a double play ball. You're in the dugout.
Freshman against freshman. With a freshman catching.
You know, you're at the halfway point of the season. I don't think you can really look at freshmen like you did in February. Huge lead at first base.
That's as big a lead as you're going to see not going. You got him to swing over it for the strikeout. 2 outs.
Well, this is dynamite breaking ball. Got to go to catch up for the heater, and a good downward motion to that slider that time. Bat started forward, couldn't hold up.
Shot by Michael King, too. Skip going to come out here, and
I think he's already made a move.
He's going to go to fellow freshman Connor Mays. I'll give you the numbers on the Lake Travis product when we get back. Skip Johnson's been a busy man as he goes out to get another relief pitcher, right-hander Connor Mays. Connor is from Lake Travis, and he's been excellent this year.
Well, it's the 5th pitcher of the night. Folks, in the last 5 ball games, the Longhorns have used a ton of different pitchers in the last 5 ball games. A lot of guys making trips to the mound.
They've used everybody. Definitely happen when you play an 18-inning Friday night game. And their 4th strike.
You can see right there, last Tuesday night against UT Pan Am, 8. Friday night at 18-inning ball game where the Longhorns used 9 pitchers, 4 Saturday, 5 Sunday, and 5 here tonight. And this is not the last pitcher of the night here tonight for Texas.
Searching for answers. 0-2 on the senior from Wichita, Bob Arms.
You're making the point about Connor Mays. He's the one guy that's been consistently able to throw strikes and stay in the strike zone. So you've got to have that guy maybe being laid out of your bullpen, knowing that he's got the ability to put you away, but he doesn't walk people.
Johnston has all the stuff in the world, just needs to throw more strikes. 1-2. Tried to paint the corner and missed outside.
Two-seamer tried to bring it back, just didn't get the call. David Wiley and Michael Cantu, you can tell, having a conversation right there. As a catcher, you say, hey, where is that pitch? You know, it might be a strike. See if the umpire says what he says. Yeah, either I didn't catch it or it was just outside.
Or get the next one, and Connor Mays does, but a 2-run home run by Ryan Tinkham. He got it up in the wind, and Mother Nature did the rest. Tuesday in Austin, Texas. Kevin Dunn, Keith Moreland, Longhorns with a 5-4 lead over Wichita State. Texas coming to bat here in the 6th inning. They will send 8, 9, and 1. Casey Clemens will lead it off. Casey still looking for his first hit. Flied out to center and also grounded out to Burns at second.
Got to give John Hayes a lot of credit. He's come out, done a pretty nice job of establishing his fastball. Had a perfect 5th, 1, 2, 3. His offense gets him back in the game in the top of the frame. Big inning for him to come out, try to shut down Texas and get his offense back in the dugout. That's that good two-seamer.
It's got some life to it.
It's got some real good life to it.
First, go ahead and flip it over to Hayes for the first out. Well, here's tonight's game summary. It's powered by the new Chevy Silverado. Ryan Tinkham with that 2-run blast here in the top half of the 6th. Cut it to 5-4. Josh Sawyer probably not happy with the 3 walks or the 2 earned runs, but all in all, you were pretty happy with that. The Texas 1 through 3 hitters, they've stepped up.
Well, you look at the top of the order, it's done its job offensively. They've been productive, not only getting the base hits, but being productive at the right time. Zane Gerwitz has been good here in the 9th spot. I was real impressed with Josh Sawyer's first 40 pitches. After that, it got a little bit outside the zone. Probably didn't challenge the hitters the way he did earlier in the ballgame, Kevin. And probably he would have been in there through the 5th and qualified himself maybe for the victory if he would have been able to get through that 4th inning.
Zane's had a good day and he needed it. Singled and scored in the 2nd inning, then walked and scored in the 4th. Also showed some pretty nice base running. Three and 1.
Activity starting to move around a little bit in the Shockers bullpen as well. Good pitch there, though, outside corner. Gerwitz taking all the way. Kevin, this becomes a big pitch for Harris if he wants to stay in the game. Hayes, excuse me, if he wants to stay in the game here.
He's going to lose him. I'll turn the lineup over and a 1-out base runner for Texas. Brings up Joe Baker, freshman leadoff man, playing shortstop tonight. He's had a good night. Walked and scored in the 1st, singled and scored in the 2nd, and singled in the 4th.
He's done a nice job in the leadoff spot. But one of the things I think he's done so well is what he's done defensively tonight. He's been really good. Made a nice feed on the double play, a couple of really nice plays going in the hole.
One of those hits is a hit and run. Did a nice job of taking it to right field. Any chance to see a little hit and run in this?
That's a good time again. It's not a good count, 0-1, because you can see pitch out in this count. Plus, as a hitter, you're 0-1. You're not sure. I could get a fastball, could get a breaking ball. You want to hit and run most of the time when the hitter's going to get a fastball. So that means he's ahead in the count.
Did not get that fastball. Pulled the string a little bit. It's 0-2. Bust him in, 1-2.
0-2, fastball in. Usually it means your 1-2 pitch is going to be away. A breaking ball away. shook that off. It may have gone back to the heater.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to set up outside. See him set up, and Gerwitz is going to take second. He wanted the fastball outside. He took his eye off that once Gerwitz took off a little bit.
Well, you can't give a pass ball there. That's a stolen base because Gerwitz was off with the pitch. Texas was running here. Even though the ball got away from him, with him moving already, you got to credit him with the stolen base.
Third stolen base for Gerwitz this year. Runner in scoring position for Texas. Ring him up. Nice pitch, and Baker knew it.
Well, that's the one that freezes you. You don't design a pitch to throw this breaking ball inside. But as a hitter, you just give. You can see Baker just give. You're not sure that it's not coming at you. And it just breaks back and catches the inside corner. There's not much you can do except put your sword away and head back to the dugout.
That's exactly what Baker did. So 2 outs for Brooks Marlowe. Marlowe's had a good night. He's reached every time. Has a couple singles and a couple ribbies.
Good offensive teams, and Kevin, you've seen a lot of them over the years, all across college baseball and professional baseball as well, are the teams that can score with 2 outs.
Yep.
Those are the teams that you'll see in Omaha in June, are the teams that can get that 2-out hit when they need it.
And the teams that win it, the Texas teams we've seen, other teams, I mean, almost always, they're good 2-out hitting teams. 2-out scoring teams, too.
There's an open base here. Would not be surprised to see them maybe going around Marlowe a little bit, even though Ben Johnson's been the best offensive player for Texas all season long. But an open base at first base and a left-handed hitter. Yeah, it looks like to me he doesn't want to throw him a strike. I would be surprised if they just don't go ahead and put him on here. Stand up and have the 4th one wide and go after Johnson, even though I think that's a dangerous call.
Yeah, it is. Johnson 1 for 3. Stung the balls last time up.
You might see Augie turn Brooks loose because of that. No, he's taken all the way there.
Three and 1 coming up. Loses him. I don't think he was ever interested in pitching to him.
Well, he was trying to really turn that fastball over, do it right down into the ground. There's always key points in the game, and this may very well be the biggest point of the ball game for both of these clubs, as the Shockers have climbed back in it, falling down 4-0, made it 4-2, and it was 5-2, and then got right back 5-4. And there's always a turning point of the game. I made a little star right already on my score sheet. This is a turning point right now.
Bullpen heating up for the Shockers. Runner takes off. Throw down, and he is out. Zane Gerwitz making the 3rd out at 3rd. That is a no-no in baseball. We have played 6. We've got a tight one here in Austin. Horns lead by a run. Well, Zane Gerwitz able to steal 2nd, but couldn't steal 3rd. And Keith, we talked about this a lot, and certainly not to pick on Zane, but we're seeing this a lot more, especially in college baseball. Why steal 3rd with 2 outs?
Well, you can steal third. I'm not going to take that away that you can, but you got to be 1,000 for 1,000, in my opinion, in that scenario, because you're already in scoring position. Zane felt like he was going to get the bag and didn't get a great jump and stumbled in his first step. And sometimes you just got to stop and go back to the bag. And you know, you go back and you look at that. You've got your best offensive player at the plate. You're in a really close game. You got 2 runners on. If you go in that scenario, you can go. You're on your own to go. But you got to make sure. You got to be 1,000% you're going to make it. And boy, it changes the complexion, because now we're into a real ball game in the last third of the game. And Johnson's got to lead the inning off with nobody on.
Yeah, best hitter. Vickers fouls that. On the count 1 and 2. Trey struck out and has walked.
We talked about it being a turning point of the game. And if Texas doesn't win this ball game, you might go back to that point right there. Might be the difference.
Just upstairs. Crowd wanted it. Counts even.
Well, the top part of this order, really, it's the 2, 3, and 4 hitters have been the production in the ball game. So you do not want to have a. This becomes a big pitch right here. You don't want to set the table and bring the top of the order to the plate.
Vickers led off the 5th inning by walking.
Lee Summit, Missouri. Trey, really good baseball area, the Kansas City area.
Baker ranges over. He is smooth over there.
He sure does make that look easy. That is not an easy play. Did a nice job of circling in it. You can see him come in here and watch him come out and circle this ball, get around it, and get his momentum going as best he can toward first base. That's a nice play.
Top of the lineup, Michael Burns. Baker pounded out to Joe Baker to start the game. Walked and then hit into a big 6-4-3 double play back in the 5th. Mays switching it up here a little bit, Keith.
I like his breaking ball. Strike thrower. He's just going to get stronger too.
2 and 2. Take a little time here. Michael's a freshman from Littleton, Colorado. Done a good job of trying to find guys from all over the country.
Coach Butler, I like what he said, though. He says, I got to win Kansas first, the state, and work my way down through Oklahoma into North Texas. The Metroplex. Some excellent baseball played through the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Right up I-35 is Wichita, Kansas. About a 5-hour drive.
It's a good at-bat, and he'll take the walk.
Now that's from 0-2 to ball 4. Those are the things that you got to find a way to stop. Yes, you want to try to make a good pitch once you get 2 strikes on the hitter and try to put him away, but first and foremost, you don't want to walk it.
There's Luka. Michael gets this to center field. Gerwitz underneath it. There's 2 outs. Luka, the only Wichita State batter not to reach base tonight, and that will continue.
Well, this is the guy you want right now.
Daniel Keeley. hit by a pitch in the 6th inning, came around to score on the Tinkham homer. Starts going for the breaking ball for a strike.
Got crossed up right there.
Yep.
Michael Cantu going out and said, hey, he was looking for a breaking ball, and he's fortunate he was able to knock that ball down. Never figured out how you get crossed up with nobody at second base.
I was just going to ask you that.
But it happens. You know, the air gets thin on that 12 inches of dirt in the middle of a baseball field.
1-1. That was firm. 1-2.
Some of the smartest men I've ever met have been pitchers until they get on the mound.
Michael rocking the little fingernail polish, obviously to make it easier for the pitcher to see. Or it's a fashion statement. I'm not sure which one.
I'm pretty sure that's to have his fingers show up.
Got him. Runner was taken off. Does not matter. Breaking ball for Mr. Mays, and a big one to get Keelan.
Was at the right time, too. He came back with that good downward motion to it, changing speeds. Pulled his front shoulder off, comes away with a big, big out.
Well, that's going to make Skip Johnson happy, the Texas pitching coach. It's time to stretch him right now. Skip has been stretching it a lot because he's been going out to the mound a lot, and he was able to talk with Josh Schroyer in the 4th inning, and we had Mr. Johnson mic'd.
I don't care if you give up 5 or 6. I don't care if you give up a 400-foot home run. But I want to see you attack them instead of them attacking you. You understand? That's all. I don't care. Just have fun doing it, man.
Sounds exactly like what you were saying.
Well, it is. It's about attacking, and you're right. He really did a great job again, in his first 40 pitches, he was in attack mode as a pitcher. He was attacking the strike zone. He was attacking the hitters, and then he got defensive. You start a 3-2 breaking ball, a 2-2 breaking ball that you really don't throw all the way in there. Instead of, here you go, you got a 4-0 lead, and attack the strike zone. And that's what Skip's talking about. He's just talking about, hey, you got to go out and have some fun doing it. That's the other thing is, when you're in the midst of a losing streak, one that we haven't seen here on the 40 acres since the 50s,
yep,
since I was born, put it that way. And, that's what happens to you. You start to get, you're tentative instead of the having fun and be aggressive.
Texas will be coming to the plate here, and they're going to be facing a new pitcher, Taylor Goshen. Excuse me, Goshen.
Well, Goshen in, but I tell you what, got to give John Hayes a lot of credit. I think he did a really nice job when he came into the ball game.
He did.
He controlled Texas. He did a nice job with a 2-seam fastball, able to hit the corner. Good changeup right there to get out of the inning, and then a good bender right there with a runner in scoring position to get Joe Baker. Young man did his job coming out of the pen tonight.
Yeah, kept them in this thing. Their offense can get something going down to their last 6 outs, but Texas hoping for some insurance. Ben Johnson will lead it off. Ben was up when Zane Gerwitz was thrown out at third to end the 6th. And hit the ball about as hard as you can his last time up, but it was right at Vickers, the shortstop.
Been an outstanding junior campaign for the young man from Westwood High School here in the Austin area.
You would think you're going to hear his name taken somewhat early in the amateur draft.
Well, he's committed full-time, good high school quarterback. If you're just seeing us for the first time this year and seeing a Longhorn game, he was a good high school football player, and was committed to 2 sports then. But he really got to college and got the opportunity to really dedicate himself to baseball, and he's made vast improvements defensively, especially. He's still got some way to go in that department, but he's got great speed, got all the tools.
Just missed 3-1.
A good hitter's pitch here. Well, that's important to score late.
Got in on him a little bit, 3-2. Laced, and once again Johnson is robbed. This time it's the second baseman, Burns. Ben wants no part of this middle infield.
Well, he did a nice job working the count, got a high fastball, hit it right on the button, and Burns just took a base hit away from him, planting him up the middle. Good crossover right at the top of his lead. You can see Johnson upset. Can't do anything as a player other than hit it hard.
You hit it hard when you're still holding your bat when it's caught. There's Tress. One.
There are at times, Kevin, I'd like to see him more of a see it and hit it, much like I talk about CJ at times. I think he's a catcher. He uses his head a lot and trying to not guess pitches, but anticipate pitches because you're our catcher. And he's a smart young man. Rather than, I think there's times when he ought to be see it and hit it. Like right now, I'd be looking fastball. If it's a fastball, I'm not going to get cheated. And he didn't.
No, he did not. 2-2.
But I think that's what he needs to do more of.
Asking if that was a strike.
And I never did that as a hitter. I don't want that umpire to ever think that I don't know the strike.
You don't know the zone? That's funny. Did it ever matter when you were catching that you may talk to him a little bit more about?
Oh, I talk to him a lot more catching, but a hit, and I never asked him if it was a strike. Of course, if you were Joe Morgan, if you didn't swing, it was a ball. So.
Crowd getting into it. Just a perfect night for college baseball. 75 degrees. Got him.
Got away with one there. This is a breaking ball that stayed up, but just had enough difference in velocity that we're out in front. The barrel goes by before the ball gets there. Not in a good location, got away with it.
Yeah, he did. Guess would like to have that one back. Here's CJ. CJ doubled, had a ribby in the first. He's popped out a couple times since. And 2. Okay, Goshen to go with Hayes. I mean, they've got some impressive arms.
You can tell this is a team that's going to play their best baseball in the second half of the season. Got off to a tough start, have played a really difficult schedule.
CJ fouls that out of play. CJ's hitting .361 this year with 2 outs.
The miscue early in the game is the difference right now.
Yes, sir. Got him to chase that. He'll make the throw down in a 1-2-3 inning for Goshen. Now he needs his offense to come up.
The fantasy.
Two historical programs playing each other. You can see Joe Carter, Gene Stevenson. Number one, these two teams have met 3 times. Wichita State winning all three happening in Omaha, Nebraska in the College World Series. As we go to the top of the 8th, 5-4 Texas. Keith Moreland and Kevin Dunn with you. And Kevin, you have studied college baseball as long as I've been around it. These are 2 elite programs in college baseball, especially in the 80s.
Yeah, no, their names just stand out. And Wichita State, with all due respect to Greg Marshall, their basketball coach, who's done an excellent job, as this is line to left. It's been a good night for Ryan Tinkham. And it's his 3rd hit. Other Wichita State hitters are 1 for 20 with 8 strikeouts. But Wichita State, a lot like Cal State Fullerton. Now, Texas is known for a lot of different things. Most people know Wichita State because of their baseball program.
Absolutely. What they've done right here. Now, this is an interesting situation. You've got the number 5 hitter at the plate. You're in the 8th inning. I don't think you bunt here. We'll see how Coach Butler wants to play it.
He was not a huge bunting type guy at Arkansas. Dominic Ficacello and some of the guys they had.
You got a left-handed hitter at the plate, right-handed hitters to follow. So now with 1 strike, may change his mind, but I doubt it.
No, line drive to right field, base hit. Definitely got something working here.
This is a really nice swing right here. Talked about Sam having ties to this part of the country. Boy, he gets a fastball, puts a really good swing on it. In fact, he hits it so well that can't get runner to 3rd. So now I think a definite bunt situation here.
Sam Hilliard now with a 7-game hit streak.
Defense, Texas will definitely be in their bunt defense with Clements moving in front of the bag at first. Hinojosa will be just in front of the bag at 3rd. He has to read the ball off the bat here. This is one of those times where you've got to anticipate it here. Not necessarily one of those situations that it's locked in stone you're going to do it because you're on the road. If you're at home, no question this is a bunt situation.
Jordan Ferris.
Well, he gave it away there with Mays' inside step, and that's why you put that play on to see if the hitter gives it away, and he definitely gave away bunt.
So CJ angling towards the field. It's in there for a strike.
A good pitch that time for the young freshman from Lake Travis. Made it look like it was a ball away, tail back, caught the corner. Ferris pulled the bat back.
Gets it down, plays at first base, and the sacrifice is good.
Well, great execution right there to put themselves in position. Now this is when you're, as a head coach for Texas, Augie Garrido, do you bring the infield up? I think you got to play back and play, let them try to tie the game. If you move the infield up in this situation, you're putting yourself in a really tough situation because it makes the hitter a lot less area for him to hit the ball to get it through the infield.
Gunnar Troutwine doubled, knocked in the first 2 runs for Wichita State in the 4th. 2-0. Fans certainly wanted that.
Well, they caught the plate, but it was upstairs.
It was.
It just didn't come down until after he got by the plate.
Infield is back. Outside 2-0.
Bottom part of the order after Troutwine has really struggled. So this may be where you're going to put him on right here. And I don't think this is a bad play by Skip Johnson and Augie Garrido here to go ahead and set the double play up.
Bob Arns is on deck. Take the walk.
Well, it does a lot of things. Arns does not run well. You can get a ground ball in the infield. You might get yourself totally out of it. You're going to play the infield back anyway. And Mays is not a guy that walks a lot of people, so you don't worry about him throwing strikes here.
I think it's the right call.
A walk and 2 Ks for the young man stepping in right now.
Swing and a miss. Bob walked in the 3rd and was caught looking in the 4th and 6th. Just about to ask you maybe a little safety action, and it's 0-2.
Another great pitch outside corner in that scenario. Trying to create something. Mays needs the strikeout right here. He's at the 35 pitch mark. His window is closing and closing quickly as well. He's been used a lot over the last 4 days.
Outside. 1-2 was set up outside. Texas defense, 32 double plays this year, good for 2nd in the conference. Well, they would love 33 right now. Fly ball to left. Coming in is Johnson. Let's see if they're going to give this a shot and see if they're going to tag. No, the bluff, and Johnson going to go to 2nd, and Mays does the job at least with arms.
He did a nice job throwing a breaking ball. I would like to see Ben Johnson go ahead and throw this ball right here. Regardless, he sees him stop, but that's one. Go ahead and get the ball to the plate. I don't like throwing behind the runner there. Get it in front of the advance runner. That is the tying run at 3rd. That's the other little things that you learn as an outfielder at times.
So bases still loaded for Trey Vickers. Vickers struck out in the 3rd, walked, also grounded to Joe Baker.
Well, this is probably going to be the best pitch of the at-bat for Vickers to hit right here. Mays does not want to go to 2-0, so as a hitter, you're pretty sure you're going to get a strike.
He's looking for it. Counts even.
Now advantage Mays.
Vickers is 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. He's 0 for 3 with the bases loaded this year. Nice pitch. 1-2. A strike from getting out of it. You got some options here, Zonk.
You do. I think you bounce the breaking ball.
Crowd getting into it. Looking for one more strike. See if this will get it out of it. Clemens over to Mays, and Texas Somehow, with their freshmen, able to work out of it. We are excited about this weekend. Going to be a fun weekend right here off of Comal. We've got softball, we've got baseball. Oh yeah, and it's Oklahoma and Texas. May have heard, kind of a big rivalry.
It is, and you're going to have softball leading into all 3 games over the course of the weekend. And you look at the standings after Oklahoma State's sweep of Texas last week, you can see that only 4 teams in the conference above 500. This is a big weekend for both the Sooners and the Horns to take care of business here at home. So you got to take care of business at home. There's no question about that, to try to keep pace with what's going on at the top of this conference.
Yes, sir. Michael Cantu will lead it off here for Texas. Cantu, Shaw, Clemens due up 6, 7, and 8. Greg Swindell and myself will have the call on Friday night as Keith, lucky guys.
I got a bucket list.
Yeah, this is a bucket list, and you're going to scratch it off. So Keith, and I believe your son Cole, going to be at the Masters, correct?
He's making his way over as well.
That should be a lot of fun. But then Zonk will get on back, and we're going to have our 3-man booth for Saturday and Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. Make sure to have it on LHN for softball and baseball action.
Boy, you'd love to add some piece of insurance right here.
Two and two. Well, the last Longhorn hit was Brooks Marlowe, and that was back in the 4th inning. This is laced. 8th hit of the game for Texas.
And might see a pinch runner here. Try to get into a situation to get that extra run across, and I would think bunt in order for Colin Shaw. We'll see how they play it here. Cantu may stay in the game, and he does, but there are times we've seen Coach Guido go to a pinch runner in these scenarios.
Keeping him in probably for defense, but that's one of the luxuries when you have Barrera, that you can
absolutely
bring him in. So you can see that one going either way, as Colin Shaw would be up there to most likely bunt.
Got to be committed right here.
What do you mean by that?
You got to be committed to getting the bunt down. You got to get your nose out there and get it down and understand how important the execution. There are certain times of the bunt, it's early in the game. Yeah, I'm going to try to get the bunt, but right now you got to execute.
Well, he does get it down. Yeah, so you're not looking for Brett Butler bunting for a hit. Get it down.
Get it down. Give yourself up. Do the job, and Shaw does it perfectly there.
Yes, he does. Cantu advances to second. Michael does not run particularly well.
How come you guys always pick on catchers?
I knew you were going to say that. He is a phenomenal athlete.
Just because I couldn't run out of sight in a week doesn't mean...
He's got a lot of things going for him. Speed's not one of them. Yeah, Truss doesn't run very well either. Our director Brad said, the reason we get on you is because you guys are so slow we can.
Yeah, you're right. 40-yard dash with a time clock. A sundial.
Big chance, big time for Casey to step up. Down to the count.
2 good pitches, though, both nipping the corners.
One and two.
Pretty good 0-2 pitch, though. Try to drop that slider back on Casey's back foot. A lot of times you pitch in and you don't double up. You go back away. I was Casey. I might be looking for that fastball away right here.
You saw the look from behind home plate. That thing just broke off. 2-2.
He doubled up, came back in with the slider.
The 2-2 from Goshen. Spoiled.
Good term, because that's exactly what he did right there. That was a good pitch. Found a way to keep the at-bat alive.
Two. Casey staying alive, trying to see if he can't get a pitch.
It's almost like he tried to turn that fastball over. Didn't have quite as much velocity.
Just gets a piece.
He's gone 3 consecutive fastballs away. In the back of your mind as a hitter sometimes, is he going to come back in? I would think it's time for a pitch back on the inner half of the plate right here.
8th pitch coming up. Goshen going to stop or step off and reset here.
I really believe that pitch was to come inside. He shook it off, so it's like he maybe wanted to stay away from Clemens.
To short. Cantu will advance, and this is going to be safe. The throw took him off. We've talked about some of the injury issues. Vickers not playing shortstop full time, and that is a huge error.
I really believe that Vickers might have got himself in a situation on the E6 here where he was looking at Cantu a little bit and didn't really know how to set his feet and how he was going to set his feet. As Clements hustling down the line, it does go as E6, but great opportunity here. I would think the safety squeeze in order early in this at bat.
2 errors for Wichita State, and they have been costly. We'll see if this one is as costly.
Yeah, the first one was very costly in the first.
E4. Brooks Marlowe was trying to sacrifice. Texas able to get 2 runs in that inning. They lead by a run here. 1 out for Zane Gurwitz. 3rd to 1st. Zane's 1 for 1. Does have a couple walks. He's had a good day at the plate. He talked about it earlier. That open stance, trying to make some adjustments and trying to see the baseball a little bit better. 1-0.
We talked about it earlier that this next pitch may be the best pitch in the at-bat for Zane. You know he doesn't want to fall behind 2-0, so I'd be looking fastball, something I can extend my arms and stay in the middle of the diamond, airborne in the middle of the diamond.
Shockers looking to turn 2 up the middle. This is reaching the seats. First couple rows. Arms gave it a look. You got to be careful when you're a catcher. You got the bats over there. You've got the donut. Arns had a lot to deal with.
It is padded, but it's not a thick padding.
Looks in to figure out what the pitch is going to be, and now relays it to Goshen. 2-1.
Really underneath that breaking ball that time. He did throw a 1-0 breaking ball. It's 2 in a row. See if he comes back with a heater here.
Two.
3 consecutive sliders. The Shockers looking for a double play ball in the middle for sure.
Good stop by Arns, counts full.
This is one of those tough situations. I got to put the runner in motion. We'll see how Coach Garrido wants to make it. Clements does not have outstanding speed, but he runs okay. I put him in motion to try to stay out of the double play right here.
And 2 at third, Clemens at first. He's not going. It's foul ball.
Of course, you're also in a scenario there for strike him out, throw him out. And that's what you're gambling on.
Foul.
Zane doing a nice job of staying inside out on this baseball. You got 3-2 count. Stay back for a slider enough that you can make contact and fight off the fastball. Really doing a nice job of inside out.
When he's been going good, he's usually going to center and right center. To left, ranging over, and we'll let that play go foul. We saw Colin Shaw not make a play. Was that something that you're thinking about that?
Well, I would be thinking about that when he slid right here. It's automatically, yeah, he pulled his glove back. I think he figured out automatically there that even if I catch the baseball, the run's going to score.
I think it was a smart play. We saw Colin Shaw do that in Stillwater and the ball to right field. So we'll do it again. Zane's staying alive here.
This is a good quality at bat. I mean, you still got to get the job done and make sure it's an outstanding at bat. Crowd recognize this is a really good battle right here. Both these guys not giving in.
Both probably realizing this is probably the game right here.
No question, that extra run is huge.
Got him. Foul tip. What a battle, and Goshen wins it.
Best breaking ball of the at-bat. On the 10th pitch of the at-bat. Gets on top of this like two-dimensional, gets good downward movement to it. See the barrel of the bat out. He was out in front and over the top.
Zane in his 4 at-bats, he saw 27 pitches, including 10 right there.
Sometimes you got to pick up your teammates. See if Joe Baker, who's had a really good night tonight, offensively and defensively, see if he can pick up his teammate. 2 out RBIs.
Talk about him a lot. Joe has scored a couple runs. He's got a couple singles. As Keith mentioned, he's played a really nice shortstop. And we had heard that. I had heard the name Brandon Loy mentioned with Joe Baker. If you're going to throw Brandon Loy's name out there, he could pick it. And Brandon with the staff right now helping out. Two and 0.
This might be a time if I was a catcher, I'd go give my pitcher a break. Very intense pitches he's had to use in this inning. He's up to 43 out of the bullpen already. Good hitter's pitch coming here, 2-0. More 9 times out of 10, this is going to be a fastball.
Back up the middle. He did pick him up. Insurance for Texas. It's 6-4.
Well, he went to the slider, Kevin. Not the fastball, but he made a mistake with it upstairs. Might have been a cutter. But he made a mistake, 2-0. Breaking ball. It is a little breaking ball. Baker did a nice job. It was upstairs. Went right back through the box, caught a little bit on the end of the bat, but that is a gigantic piece of hitting for the true freshman right there, Joe Baker.
First career 3-hit game for Baker. Brings home fellow freshman Michael Cantu. 6-4 now, Texas. We're going to see a pitching change for the Shockers. Goshen did a nice job. I think you're exactly right, Keith. You could see him tiring. Those were some intense pitches.
Well, there's so much on you in that. There's so much emotion involved in it. He made the pitch when he needed to get Gerwitz. But you can see I might have gone out and just given him a little bit of breath, let him catch his breath. And then when he missed with the first 2 pitches to Baker, 2-0, he had to throw a strike.
Reagan Beekler is going to be the new pitcher as Goshen's day is done. Kevin Dunn, Keith Moreland here. Longhorns trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. On the flip side, Wichita State trying to rebuild a once great program that Gene Stevenson had built. Todd Butler in his 2nd season. As you take a look at the sophomore from Colorado Springs. He's going to turn it around at some point.
Well, I don't think there's a doubt about it. He's an excellent recruiter. And it is a program with great tradition. It's one of those scenarios right there where fell behind in this ball game 4-0 and really battled their way back into it.
That's how cool Todd Butler is. Look at him. Having some fun with some Texas fans.
You've got to. He does. His kids do have fun, and I think that's going to help him rebuild a program. The demeanor of a head coach a lot of times comes out, especially a new head coach. You see that in all the different programs and different sports. I mean, the demeanor of that head coach comes out in the way that the kids go about their job, and you can tell watching these guys take BP today and spending time around them that they're going to be a team that's going to be loose. They're going to have some fun, and they're going to compete, and they've competed here tonight.
They have. Joe Baker's competed as well, and Keith, you've been impressed with what the freshman's been able to do. 3 hits, and defensively, he's been fun to watch.
Well, he's been outstanding defensively. He makes a nice job. Watch him get off the ground quickly here, deep in the hole. Uses the turf to get the out there, and later in the game, does the same thing. And then this hit and run right here, really, in the 2nd inning. That 2nd time up. And he comes back. Watch him here again, gets back to the air, and then you see his arm strength's getting better. Coming off injury, and then this base hit right here, none bigger than the one he just got here in the bottom of the 8th.
So here's Brooks Marlowe, little lefty-lefty action. Takes a big cut, 0-1.
Top of the order due for the Shockers in the 9th.
Makes that extra run even bigger.
Well, you'd love to take the bunting game out of it, and another base hit right here. Texas could put themselves in position that the first 2 guys to get on, they can't bunt.
So see who Texas sends out to the hill. We'll stick with Connor Mays or go to someone else.
I believe they're going to go to the lefty in the bullpen.
One and 2. Brooks does not look like he's getting a good read on this guy.
He's not getting a good read, and you can see that fastball after the slow breaking balls. It looks about 110 miles an hour when you're up there.
He's hitting 231 against lefties, 9 hits against lefties this year. After only 3 a couple years ago.
I think that was a great adjustment in 2014 for Brooks Marlowe, is his ability to stay in and do the job against left-handers. He was more patient, took his walks.
He seems like the type of hitter that, unlike CJ and Tress, he does like to work counts.
He does. He's more comfortable the more pitches he sees.
Close, 3-2. Runners will get a little head start here. Runners are off. To second, Baker had to get out of the way. The throw over, and Texas is done here in the 8th. They do get that huge insurance run. Last chance for the Shockers.
Pitch here on a breaking ball, not deep enough to score the run. And then he comes back here, makes a good pitch. Get the out at first, covers first, does his job. You see him fired up as he comes off the field right there. Well, bases loaded, 1 out, and then Joe Baker with a big insurance knock. You see that smile on his face there. As we go to the top of the 9th, that's a huge run for the Horns. They go to the bullpen again here, Kevin.
Yeah, they do. It's going to be Ty Colbert, still trying to figure out who that guy is to finish games off. So the lefty will get the chance here. You know, going back to Joe Baker and that smile, which you could just tell how happy he is. That's what all he said. He said, I want to see these guys smile, have some fun.
Well, you got to have some fun. You got to win. You got winning creates smiles. There's no question. But the other part of that is, you know, they're not getting paid to do this.
Right.
This is not professional ball. You still should have fun playing the game. It's a game they've been playing since they were probably 6 years old.
Top of the lineup, 1, 2, 3. This is Michael Burns. Does have a couple walks. Also grounded out to shortstop twice.
That's why you got to come out of the pen and throw strikes. Again, a 2-run lead. Don't want to bring the tying run to the plate via the walk.
It's the call on the bottom part of the zone. David Wiley's been consistent with that. And with some of the high strike zones, I like having a low zone. It's where you need to pitch. Second. Big first out.
You would kind of like to go 1, 2, 3 here, because the guy hitting 4th in this innings had a big night.
Yes, he has. He got Ryan Tinkham, flied out to center, singled and scored, hit a 2-run homer, and then singled back in the 8th. The Shocker 1, 2, 3 hitters are now 0 for 10 tonight. There's Michael Muka. Michael's thinking, I wish I had that one back. One and one. Two and one. Luka grounded out to Casey Clemens a couple times. Also has a couple flyouts. Texas with 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Wichita State answered with 2 in the 4th. So got a 2 spot in the 6th inning. Two and two.
Thank you very much. If you're Texas right there, is a hitter he knew he was going to get fastball, saw it, wasn't close to a strike, but then he tried to stop his swing, and now you're in a lot different scenario. And Mocha, you could tell, not comfortable right there with that. You could just see in his mind, all right, it's 2 and 1. I'm going to get a fastball, and he saw it, even though it was way out of the zone.
Sometimes when you know you're going to see something, and then you see it, that can
anticipate it too much.
Yep. Seen some of the Texas hitters do that. The 2-2. Got him. And out away from snapping the 7-game losing streak.
And then you come back with a bender. Makes it difficult. You can see this good pitch here. Started out middle part of the plate, broke it to the outside corner. Boca pulled off the top of it. And this is the guy you want right now.
Yeah, you want to get to Keeley with Tinkham on deck. And Tinkham, if he gets up, he's going to be the tying run. He's shown that he's got no problem leaving the yard. 0-1. Keeley has struck out a couple times. Strike away.
Really did a nice job of turning that pitch over to tie that time. He's got options here. I like backdoor breaker ball right now. With the heater.
Texas fans on their feet, ready to see this losing streak done. Hinojosa, it is. Texas wins it 6-4. Keith, I guess they're all must-wins, but the Horns needed this one.
Well, they did need this one. They snapped a 7-game losing streak, the longest since the 1956, I believe, is the last time they had that happen. They did a nice job. They did the little things tonight. Offensively, they were very productive, and I think they got good pitching, and they played excellent defense. And so that's a good combination. When you look at the inning, winning by inning, they won 3 of the 9 innings and won the game 6-4.
And they're smiling. That's always a good thing. Texas softball team cheering on the baseball team. And what a day for Joe Baker, the freshman, playing shortstop, leading off. Scored a couple runs, had 3 hits. As the teams will show some good sportsmanship. And as we've talked about all game long, Texas and Wichita State, they're playing in baseball. The country's watching.
Well, you're right. And you see Wichita State's on their way back. Right now, they're leading their conference. Texas needed this win with the Sooners coming to town for a big 3-game set this weekend. An important 3-game set here at the Dish.
And don't forget, we've got softball and baseball, both in Austin, both against Oklahoma. Should be a lot of fun this weekend, so make sure that you tune in to that. I want to say thanks to Brad Sheldon, also Drew Irvin, our great crew. For Keith Moreland, I'm Kevin Dunn. Here's the eyes.